Chapter 40-26. Haha, Aosheng laughed. What's the point of saying all this now? The crystal dragon scripture is the sacred item of my dragon island. It's owned by all 9 clans. Since when did it become your clan's private property? Besides, if we spill our essence blood, wouldn't that be the same as letting ourselves be captured? Cough cough, Xiaohua tried to smooth things over. Aosheng, I can vouch for Aozhan, his words should still be trustworthy. Xiaohua. Aosheng looked at Xiaohua with interest and asked, You know Aozhan? Could it be that you entered the stacked Jade Legacy realm with Aozhan in secret? Xiaohua shook his head. Aosheng, I came to Dragon Island for Aozhantian, but also for other things. I already told the elders in the Dragon Palace. I only met Aozhantian before entering the stacked Jade Legacy realm. I don't know his plan at all. Oh, do you think I would still tell you the name of the Deep Yuan if I knew his plan? Who knows? Aosheng sneered. Opening the seal of the Deeper Yuan seems to require the essence blood of my Dragon Island's 10 clans. If I didn't come, the essence blood of the Dragon clan wouldn't exist. Is there such a coincidence? Xiaohua looked at the dozens of dragons around Aosheng, dumbfounded. Aozhan said coldly, Aosheng, I don't want to say anything unnecessary. If you want to live, if you want to rule the Dragon Island in the future, you better give up now. If you still resist after 10 breaths, don't blame me for not giving the Dragon Island any face. You dare. Aosheng was furious. 10 Aozhan ignored him and counted by himself. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Aosheng yelled in exasperation. As Aozhan counted, his body expanded again, and the dragon chi around the ring-shaped mountain flocked into his body. Between the pitch-black dragon scales, a pitch-black dragon stone appeared. Roar before Aozhan counted to 5, Aosheng roared, and a series of crackling sounds came from his body. The originally injured dragon body expanded as if it was inflated, and the dragon horns glowed with a brilliant light. A destructive dragon aura emitted from his body. Ah! Not only Aozhan, but all the dragons, demons, and humans present were shocked because the dragon's might was rising steadily. In just a moment, it had reached an unbelievable level. The shock that came from the bottom of their hearts made them not only stop, but they also hurriedly retreated. Their claws were also trembling, and they were unable to resist. First Elder? Naturally, Xiaohua was also intimidated by this dragon's might. His body couldn't help but tremble. He is somewhat familiar with this dragon's might. Isn't this the aura of the great elder of the Dragon Island? Aozhan, as expected, Aosheng's dragon body expanded several times, and the terrifying dragon aura covered the entire ring-shaped mountain. Only then did he lower his huge dragon head and look at Aozhan, saying, This old man has waited for you for thousands of years, and you have finally appeared. Ha ha ha, you really didn't disappoint me. Although Aozhan had obtained the dragon's bloodline inheritance, it was still too early after all. At this moment, he tried his best to urge his dragon chi to resist, but under this power, his pitch-black dragon body was suspended in the air. The dragon flame was also transparent like a crystal, and he didn't move at all. However, even though the great elder of the Dragon Island sealed his divine ability, he couldn't seal his battle intent and anger. Aozhan said loudly, I am a descendant of the Gue clan, so I naturally won't be the same as the other 9 clans of the Dragon Island. How can I disappoint the Great Elder? However, the Great Elder actually used the body of a little child to deal with me personally. I am really overwhelmed by the favor. Aozhan's words were naturally sarcastic, but why would the Great Elder care? He smiled coldly, just as the previous generation's elder said. You Gue clan have always had an unruly character. You only think about yourself and not the other dragon clans. Do you know why Aochin took the crystal dragon and escaped into the folded Jade Legacy realm? Do you think it's because of those self-righteous reasons that you obtained from your ancestors? Do you think you are the only one who knows about your many schemes? All the truth is the declaration of the victor. Aozhan smiled faintly. Don't you think your explanation is too weak? Instead of explaining this to me, why don't you explain how you can borrow Aosheng's dragon body? If I knew you had this kind of divine ability, how could I have fallen into your trap? The 10 clans of the Dragon Island each have their own secret bloodline divine ability. There are so many. The Great Elder answered. Just like how you Gui clan can naturally hide your own bloodline and transform into another clan's bloodline at will, the primordial spirit of my dragon clan is extremely similar, and we can perform the divine ability of primordial spirit residence. Do you know why Ao Sheng is called the Little Elder? Not only because his bloodline is pure, but also because his primordial spirit is extremely similar to mine, the previous generation's elder. Forget it, Ao Zhan sighed. We have left the Dragon Island for a long time, and this kind of secret has long been forgotten. If not for this, our Gui clan would have succeeded today. After saying that, the black flames around Ao Zhan suddenly surged up, and a series of dragon roars came out from his body. Ao Zhan's scales overflowed with dragon blood, and his body expanded, and the dragon's aura began to rise. Oh, this is really beyond my expectation. The Great Elder was surprised to see that Ao Zhan actually had the strength to fight. Roar while he was talking. Ao Zhan raised his dragon claws, and a shadow flashed past. Swoosh! The Great Elder's chest was instantly covered with blood. Although the Great Elder had occupied Ao Sheng's dragon body, Ao Sheng's dragon body was not the Great Elder's. Under this attack, Ao Sheng's chest was almost torn apart. The Great Elder was shocked and had no time to think about why Ao Zhan had such a mysterious divine ability. He raised his claws and stabbed forward. Sizzle! Dozens of thunderbolts were produced, completely sealing Ao Zhan's neck. No matter how Ao Zhan shook his head and tail, he could not break free. The Great Elder's sharp claws fell, and Ao Zhan was about to be torn apart. And in Ao Zhan's eyes, there was no fear except regret. The resentment of the 10 clans of Dragon Island can finally be settled at this time. The Great Elder said indifferently, "This old man killed you, the leader, so there shouldn't be any more trouble in the future. My Ji clan has tens of thousands of descendants. If you kill me, there will be other dragons." Ao Zhan shouted unyieldingly. "Kill them one by one." The Great Elder laughed. "There will always be a time when we kill them all." As he spoke, the sharp claws were about to fall. But at this time, a voice sounded, "Wait! Wait!" The Great Elder's sharp claws did not stop, and he replied indifferently, "Didn't Daoist Xiao say just now? Not participating in the internal strife of my Dragon Island's 10 clans. Why are you going back on your words now?" "I don't plan to participate," Xiao Hua replied indifferently. However, this Xiao saw a future great sage of the Dragon clan, who has yet to show his talent and is about to fall. "It's a pity for your dragon clan, so I wanted to say a word." "You mean him?" The Great Elder was a little stunned. Looking at Ao Zhan, who had already given up struggling, he laughed and said, "How could he be a great sage? Why don't you tell me?" "I will only say one word, I won't say anything else." Xiaohua laughed. "If there's anything you should ask Ao Zhan." Ao Zhan snorted coldly and did not answer. The Great Elder sneered and said, "Even if he is a great sage of the Dragon clan, he is still a great sage of the Ji clan. The more powerful he is, the more harmful it will be to my Dragon Island. My Dragon Island is already a little tired to deal with a Pentaceratops. If there is another enemy of the Ji clan, how can my Dragon Island be peaceful? Damn it, this is bad." Xiaohua complained in his heart. His eyes turned rapidly and shouted, "Sai Great Elder, could it be that you didn't see Ao Zhan's mercy towards Ao Sheng just now? If he could kill Ao Sheng, when he captured Ao Sheng earlier, he would have already killed Ao Sheng, right? Don't you think that with the method he used to injure you just now, it would be easy for him to kill Ao Sheng?" This the Great Elder was a little hesitant. Xiaohua was right. Ao Zhan did have a lot of opportunities to kill Ao Sheng. Especially what Ao Zhan said to Ao Sheng just now, he also heard it. Ao Zhan was really thinking about the Dragon clan's inheritance. Xiaohua struck while the iron was hot and said, "My human race often says that family is a relationship of blood and flesh where the bones are broken and the tendons are connected. Your Dragon Island's 10 clans are all Dragon clan. Their bloodline originated from the same source. No matter what, they are close. They are originally from the same root. Why are you so anxious to kill each other? I don't know what grudges the Ji clan has with the other 9 clans, but after hearing a few words just now, I feel that there seems to be some misunderstanding. Actually, a lot of things are misunderstood because they can't be explained clearly. As long as things are explained clearly, the misunderstandings will vanish like smoke. Now it is really rare. One is the son of the Ji clan, the other is the great elder of the Dragon Palace. I don't believe that there is anything in this world that can't be explained clearly. Of course, great elder, if you really have a reason to kill, not to mention this deeper Yuan, not to mention this folded Jadeite legacy realm, even on the entire Dragon Island, who can stop you? The matter of the Ji clan is too long ago. The great elder was moved by Xiao Hua's words and said. Xiao Hua at the side hurriedly waved his hand. Great elder, this is your Dragon clan's secret. It is not suitable for me to know. You should talk to Ao Zhan alone. Secret? Heh. The great elder faintly smiled. He understood the double meaning of Xiao Hua's words. He laughed and said, You are right, this old man really wants to know, just how much does the Gue clan hate my Dragon Island 9 clans? After saying that, a layer of faint dragon chi rose between the great elder and Ao Zhan. Wherever the dragon chi passed, the two giant dragons froze on top of the dragon chi, and not a trace of movement could be heard. Looking at the other dragon clan, human clan and demon clan, there was surprise on their faces. What was happening in front of them had long surpassed their imagination. They all stopped fighting and separated into two places, waiting for the result. Looking at everyone, Xiao Hua sighed a little. Alas, poor Ao Moyen, to be called Mr. Moyen in vain. In the end, he really thought himself clever. But if she didn't stop this Xiao from taking action, how should this Xiao face Ao Sheng's request for help? After all, it is a living life. It is really a pity. Chapter 40-27. Ao Moyun's poison naturally couldn't hurt the current Xiao Hua. He was just giving Xiao Hua a reason not to attack. And the price of this reason was a life, which made Xiao Hua feel that it was not worth it. Xiao Hua waited for half a day, but the longer the time, the more Xiao Hua felt at ease. After all, Ao Zhan had to bargain with the great elder, which would take time. And if the great elder didn't want to listen, he would probably come out in a moment, right? Just as Xiao Hua was thinking, the two dragons above the dragon chi moved, and the dragon chi instantly disappeared, revealing the great elder and Ao Zhan. However, the expression of the two dragons was different from what Xiao Hua thought. There was no crying, no ecstasy, only calmness, as if nothing had happened. This old man can't occupy Ao Sheng's dragon body for a long time. Once the great elder appeared, he immediately ordered, You don't have to fight with the Hui dragons anymore. Just listen to Ao Sheng's orders. Yes, great elder. The dragons on the Dragon Island all heaved a sigh of relief and replied. Then the great elder glanced at Xiao Hua and said, Xiao Hua, this old man will leave everything here to you. If you help Ao Sheng get the Crystal Dragon Scripture, you can get the friendship of my Dragon Island. Of course, other than the Crystal Dragon Scripture, this old man also doesn't know what else there is in the deeper Yuan. If you are fated to get the Ruined Dragon Core, it might be possible. Don't worry, Xiao Hua saw that the great elder was about to leave, and hurriedly shouted, Do I need to eat the Dragon Core? Great elder, you have to tell me where the Dragon Cleansing Pool is, right? Hee, this old man has already said what needs to be said. You can ask Ao Sheng yourself. The great elder's voice became softer and softer as he replied with a smile. After saying that, Ao Sheng's dragon body rapidly shrank, and the terrifying dragon pressure from before also weakened, revealing Ao Sheng proudly. Ao Zhan's tone was not particularly intimate, and said, Did you hear what the great elder said? Of course, Ao Sheng said with a smile. Ao Zhan nodded. Good. You all rest for a moment, then listen to my arrangements. We will break the seal of the deeper Yuan. All right. Ao Sheng agreed, and prepared to bring the rest of the dragons to the other side of the ring-shaped mountain. Don't be hasty, Xiao Hua called out again. Ao Sheng, tell me the truth. Where is the dragon cleansing pool? Reverend. Ao Sheng smiled bitterly. Didn't I make it clear to you earlier? I really don't know where it is. Why don't I look for it with you after we come out of the deeper Yuan? If you can't find the dragon cleansing pool, don't blame me for not returning it. Before Xiao Hua could finish his sentence, Ao Sheng, who was swimming, naturally knew what he meant. However, in Ao Sheng's eyes, Long Yu was no match for the crystal dragon scripture. He could only throw Xiaohua's threat to the back of his head. Ao Zhan, on the other hand, looked at his subordinates and instructed, "You all should also rest for a while. When we return from the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm, the Dragon Hall will issue the Dragon Hall Order. Because my Gui clan knows our wrongs and repents, we will return the Crystal Dragon Scripture and pardon some of the sins of my Gui clan. Then when will my clan return to the 10 clans of the Dragon Island?" A dragon asked somewhat anxiously. "The road to return to the Dragon Island is still very long." Ao Zhan smiled bitterly. "Unless my clan can produce a great sage of the demon clan. How is that possible?" All the dragons were astonished. "With the first step, it's always good. Take your time on the road from now on." Ao Zhan seemed to be extremely satisfied with this result. He waved his hand and said, "The problem now is to find the Crystal Dragon Scripture. If the Crystal Dragon Scripture doesn't return to the Dragon Hall, we still have to think of a way to leave the Dragon Island." "Yes, leader." All the dragons agreed and flew to the other side of the ring-shaped mountain. Ao Zhan flew in front of Xiaohua and cupped his hands. "Reverend Xiao, I have received your grace again." Xiaohua smiled and waved his hand. "This matter has nothing to do with me. It's because you didn't have any killing intent in your heart. You saved yourself. Furthermore, I have to congratulate fellow immortal AO. Although you have yet to complete the heavy responsibility on your shoulders, the road has already appeared under your feet. Fellow immortal AO, sooner or later, you will be able to bring our clan back to the 10 clans of the Dragon Island." Others may not know, but how could enlightened master not understand? "If it wasn't for your grace, how could I have such a fortuitous encounter?" Ao Zhan said very sincerely. "I won't say any more. I won't say any more." Xiaohua knew what Ao Zhan wanted to say. He waved his hand and said with a smile, "If I can help you settle your grudges, how much less killing will there be in the future? How many fewer dragons would die? This Xiao is very willing to accept this merit. Things might not be as simple as you think." Ao Zhan smiled bitterly. "After all, my race has been at odds with the Dragon Island for many years. The 9 races of the Dragon Island, Pangbai, Luo Luo Shrine, and Swan and I have suffered many losses because of my race. Even if I offer the Crystal Dragon Scripture, the other 8 races will still try to stop me. Nonsense, how could it be possible without obstruction?" Xiaohua replied, "But since there is a righteous cause, they will have one less weakness to use against you. Your wish will come true sooner or later. By the way, since the Gui clan has been pardoned, what about the Dragon clan in the heavenly abode? What about them?" Ao Zhan was a little hesitant. "They are naturally a branch of my clan, but my Gui clan hasn't settled down yet. I'm afraid we'll have to wait for some time to settle the matter of the heavenly abode." "Wait until you are strong enough." Xiaohua understood that the Gui clan had many things to do, and Ao Zhan was probably facing many more difficulties. At this point, Xiaohua's heart suddenly quivered as he thought of Jiang Che in the Legacy Realm. After all, the appearance of Jiang Che and the other 2 heavenly abode dragons in the Legacy Realm was too strange. If no one had tipped them off, how could they have found that place? However, at this point, Xiaohua felt that there was no point in asking Ao Zhan anymore, so he might as well keep this secret in the bottom of his heart. Ao Zhan nodded and looked at the restriction below his feet. The dragon patterns had already gathered into a black dragon, and its appearance was very frightening. Ao Zhan stared at the black dragon, and a trace of gentleness flashed in his eyes. After a while he said, "This is the former patriarch of my Gui clan Ao Qin, a dragon that could be the great elder of Dragon Island. When he was training in the Stacked Jade Forgotten Realm, he used the strength of a single dragon to obtain the Dragon Jade and Crystal Dragon Scripture. According to his thinking, he would definitely be able to obtain the position of Great Elder because of this. But the Great Elder of that generation wasn't him. In his anger, he took away the Dragon Jade and Crystal Dragon Scripture from the Dragon Hall. And from that moment onwards, the fate of my Gui clan changed." Ao Zhan didn't say the specific reason, but he had obviously accepted the Great Elder's explanation. Xiaohua sighed and said, "Perhaps Ao Qin was wrong, or perhaps the Dragon Hall was wrong, But what's right is the fact that has already happened. Our human race has a saying that it's never too late to mend the pen after the sheep are lost. Now that the bloodline of the Gue clan still exists, it's not too late. Yes, I understand. The burden on this Ao's shoulders is getting heavier and heavier. Ao Zhan nodded. This Xiao Hua has other thoughts in his mind. At this point he asked again in a low voice, "That's right, Ao Zhan, tell this old man the truth. Is the great elder's words true? Does he really not know where the dragon cleansing pool is?" There are 2 dragon cleansing pools on Dragon Island. One is real and one is fake. Ao Zhan glanced at Xiao Hua as he replied meaningfully, "The one outside the stacked jade Forgotten Realm is a fake. The dragon cleansing liquid inside was extracted from the real dragon cleansing pool inside the stacked jade Forgotten Realm. This dragon cleansing liquid is the essence of the dragon domain. It can't leave the dragon cleansing pool. Once it leaves the dragon cleansing pool, it can't be called dragon cleansing liquid anymore. However, this liquid can still nourish and repair the body of my dragon clan. So Dragon Island still values this fake dragon cleansing pool very much. Generally speaking, the so-called dragon cleansing pool outside of Dragon Island is this fake dragon cleansing pool. As for the real dragon cleansing pool, Taoist Master Xiao, have you heard of the Ascension Pool in your Tao Sect's immortal world?" "Ascension Pool?" Xiao Hua smacked his lips and said with a bitter smile, "This Xiao has never heard of it. This Xiao has only heard of the Lotus Cleansing Pool in Thunder Temple." "What's the Lotus Cleansing Pool in Thunder Temple?" Ao Zhan sneered. "That's just a bunch of bald donkeys playing reincarnation. How can it be compared to the dragon cleansing pool on Dragon Island? If you want to compare it, it's at most similar to the fake dragon cleansing pool outside of the stacked jade legacy realm." Xiao Hua also looked at Ao Zhan meaningfully. Ao Zhan, who was only at the 6th or 7th stage of origin energy, seemed to care more about Dragon Island's reputation than the Great Elder. Even the Great Elder compared the dragon cleansing pool to the Buddhist sect's lotus cleansing pool, but Ao Zhan immediately stepped on the lotus cleansing pool. It was probably because of Ao Zhan's understanding that the Great Elder was reassured to let Ao Zhan lead Ao Sheng and the others to find the crystal dragon seal. "What does immortal friend Ao mean?" Xiao Hua asked. "It's said that the immortal qi in your Tao sect immortal world is very dense. Ordinary cultivators can't withstand the higher grade immortal qi after ascending to the immortal world. Therefore, every cultivator who ascends has to remodel their body in the ascension pool. The dragon realm of my dragon clan is half a level higher than the immortal world. The dragon cleansing liquid in the dragon realm can only be compared to the immortal molding liquid in the ascension pool. Does immortal friend Ao Zhan understand what I'm saying? So, after your dragon clan breaks through the void and reaches the dragon realm, you also have to use the dragon cleansing liquid to remodel your body?" Xiao Hua understood. Ao Zhan nodded. Of course. Didn't immortal friend Ao Zhan feel that the dragon qi in the stacked jade legacy realm is several times stronger than on Dragon Island? And this is just a fragment of the dragon realm. If it were the real dragon realm, then the dragon qi. Yes, it should be called dragon spiritual qi. Then how terrifying would dragon spiritual qi be? Ordinary dragon bodies wouldn't be able to withstand it, right? Damn it. Xiao Hua gnashed his teeth. Your dragon clan's dragon body is already incomparably tough. If you remodel your body after reaching the dragon realm, how are the immortals of the immortal world supposed to survive? You humans don't really rely on your physical body after ascending to immortality. It doesn't make a difference whether it's tough or not, right? Ao Zhan replied with a smile. Don't try to change the topic. Xiao Hua snorted. I just want to know the whereabouts of the dragon cleansing pool. After saying so much, do you think the Grand Elder knows? Of course he doesn't. Ao Zhan smiled. If he knows where the dragon cleansing pool is, doesn't that mean he knows where the deeper Yuan is? Wouldn't he have found this place long ago? Chapter 40-28. With that, Ao Zhan glanced at Ao Sheng and sneered. Don't think that Ao Sheng knows that the crystal dragon is here. If I didn't deliberately lead him here, he wouldn't be able to find this place. Why? Xiao Hua was a little surprised. Ao Zhan looked around and actually transmitted his voice. The dragon cleansing pool, deep air abyss, and a place called the Mirage are the three most mysterious places in the stacked jade Forgotten Realm. The Dragon Cleansing Pool is called the Dragon Cleansing Pool because of the dragon cleansing liquid, which is the essence of dragon spiritual chi. It is the closest to the dragon domain. No primordial consciousness or divine ability can find it. Furthermore, when the stacked jade Forgotten Realm changes, the Dragon Cleansing Pool is hidden outside the Forgotten Realm. And this deep air abyss, to be honest, it is the earliest place connected to the Dragon Realm. It can be said that it is the source of the dragon spiritual energy in the entire stacked jade legacy realm. If it wasn't for my clan leader, I wouldn't be able to find this place. What? This deep air abyss is the connection between the Dragon Realm and the stacked jade legacy realm? Xiaohua was shocked and said, so when clan leader Ao Qin came here. Yes, that should be what the old man meant. Ao Zhan nodded. However, without the strength of breaking the void, it is impossible to pass through this connection. Of course, even if you have the strength of a great saint, you may not be able to pass through this connection. So, no dragon has ever entered the Dragon Realm through this connection. In the past, I seem to have heard that this is a place to send messages. Of course, by the time of clan leader Ao Qin's generation, this connection was already broken. See, Xiaohua sucked in a mouthful of cold air, as if he understood something. Of his two broken dragon jade, one was from the Dawn Rain continent, the other was from the Little White Dragon, and the Little White Dragon was from the 10,000 Demon Realm. Those two places were not the Dragon Island, nor were they the three continents. Previously, the Great Elder of the Dragon Palace didn't ask about the origin of the Dragon Jade, because they thought that Xiaohua's Dragon Jade was only lost in the three continents. What they didn't expect was that Xiaohua's Dragon Jade was not obtained in the three continents. If this deep air abyss was the passage connecting the stacked jade legacy realm to the Dragon Realm, it was now closed. That is to say, the Dragon Clan wanted to go to the Dragon Realm with the two broken Dragon Jade. Because they failed, they ended up in the Demon Realm and Dawn Rain continent. What's wrong? Ao Zhan asked when he saw Xiaohua's strange expression. Xiaohua naturally couldn't pursue this matter any further, so he changed the topic and asked, what about the Mirage? I don't know. Ao Zhan shook his head. Back then, when clan leader Ao Qin divided the dragons, some of them fled to the Dragon Realm, while others fled to the Four Seas. I am a descendant of the dragons who stayed in the Four Seas. Only through the Long Bay that Patriarch Ao Qin had passed down did he know all of this. I don't know anything else. In other words, Xiaohua smiled. You might not pass through Dragon Island and directly return to the Four Seas? Sure. However, the risk is extremely high. Ao Zhan nodded. There are some spatial layers around the stacked jade legacy land, and there are some distorted spatial veins that lead to the Four Seas. However, these spatial veins also lead to the void. Once we fall into the void, even if we have the body of a dragon, we won't be able to survive. Forget it. Xiaohua extinguished the thought of escaping with the Long Yu and smiled at Ao Zhan. Fellow immortal Ao, you seem to have told me everything you know. Spiritual Master. Ao Zhan said with extreme sincerity. I worked together with Spiritual Master in the Legacy Realm, so I'm very confident in Spiritual Master's character. Back then, I didn't know that Spiritual Master also had the bloodline of a dragon. Otherwise, I would have communicated with Spiritual Master more. Furthermore, Spiritual Master wasn't moved by the bloodline of a true spirit in the Legacy Realm. I really don't know what else in this world can make Spiritual Master interested. If I don't trust such a Spiritual Master, who else can I trust? Now, if my Gui race wants to be ranked as one of the 10 races of Dragon Island again, not only do I need to cultivate to the Great Sage Realm, I also need more help. Spiritual Master has a bloodline comparable to Ao Sheng's, and is favored by Meng Long Hall's Great Elder. I naturally won't hide anything from Spiritual Master. Sai Xiaohua sighed. He didn't really want to care about the revenge of the Heavenly Abode River, but he didn't expect to encounter the revival of the Gui race here. He didn't even have time to cultivate in seclusion, so how could he want to spend more time on these things? He didn't want to say anything more here, so he asked again. Oh right, is there really a ruined dragon pill in the Deeper Yuan? There is. Ao Zhan nodded. Senior Aochin said clearly in the dragon shell that he saw the aura of a dragon pill here, but the aura of the pill wasn't particularly strong. He guessed that it might be a ruined dragon pill. How many years has it been? Xiaohua smiled bitterly. Is the dragon pill still effective? Ao Zhan shook his head. I don't know about this. But this place is actually a fragment of the dragon realm, nourished by dragon qi. Even if the dragon pill is ruined, it should still be effective, right? However, spiritual master, this dragon pill, even if it's ruined, I'm afraid it's not something you can consume. That day, I spread the news just to encourage the human race cultivators. Sai, let's take a look first. Xiaohua waved his hand. Didn't you hear what Great Elder said? Leave everything to me. If I don't go in and take a look, he won't let me go. Roar at this time, Ao Xing flew over from afar and asked, Ao Zhan, we've already rested. Can we break the seal now? Of course. Ao Zhan looked at Ao Sheng and replied, the dragon sons of the 9 clans of Dragon Island. Release half of your dragon blood. What? Ao Sheng was shocked when he heard this. Why do we have to release so much dragon blood? To break this seal, we need the blood essence of the 10 clans of Dragon Island. We already had some before, plus the dragon that fell from my Ji clan. And the 7 clans that didn't release enough blood essence. Especially you. Your blood essence is the most important. Ao Zhan replied without any trace of politeness. You Ao Sheng was a little flustered and exasperated. But after he said a few words, he became dejected again. After all, Ao Zhan's purpose of luring them here was to kill them and use their blood essence. Now that he was only allowed to release half of his blood essence, although it made his heart ache, compared to the previous deadlock, there was a fundamental difference. Roar! Ao Sheng roared, opened his mouth, and a stream of dragon blood fell like a fountain. The dragon blood fell on the black dragon seal. And the black dragon seal began to slowly rotate. When Ao Sheng was dispirited in mid-air, the other dragons also spat out their blood essence. The black dragon above the seal sped up and surrounded the ring-shaped mountain, forming a huge whirlpool. The hurricane above the whirlpool also took the shape of a dragon. Seeing Ao Sheng curled up and not moving, Xiaohua smiled and said, What's wrong? Didn't you just spit out a few mouthfuls of blood? Why can't you move? Spit out a few mouthfuls of blood for me to see. Spit out a few mouthfuls of blood for me to see. Ao Sheng shouted. This is blood essence. I'm also a dragon. If I was a human, I would have died long ago. Haha, you also know about dying. Xiaohua laughed. Your dragon clan doesn't have pills. What pills do I need? Ao Sheng said disdainfully. If you want to eat, wait until you enter the deep air lake to eat dragon pills. Xiaohua smiled, took out a jade bottle, and said with a smile, This Xiao has refined blood replenishing pill, do you want it? No. Ao Sheng waved his hand. This thing is useless to me. Alright. Xiaohua nodded. This blood replenishing pill is refined by this Xiao. It is most suitable for humans, but it seems that the Yao race can also use it. If you don't want to use it, then forget it. It's a waste not to eat it. Seeing that Xiaohua was about to take the jade bottle, Ao Sheng raised his dragon claw and shouted, Give it. Let me try. Just now I wanted to give it to you, but you didn't want to eat it. Now I want to eat it, but I won't give it to you. Xiaohua smiled, pretending to take it and said. A strong wind swept past, and Ao Sheng snatched the jade bottle. He put the jade bottle into his mouth, and with a crunch, his dragon teeth crushed the seal on the jade bottle, and the bottle of blood replenishing pill fell into his stomach. Xiaohua was a little stunned, and slapped his forehead. Damn it, this Xiao now knows what it means to be an old cow chewing peony. I am a little dragon, not an old cow. Ao Sheng shouted angrily. I am a little elder of the dragon race, yet I can eat your pill. In the future, if you sell pills in the hidden immortal continent, this will be a big gimmick. What kind of pill is this? Suddenly, the dragon chi around Ao Sheng's body surged, and layers of blood color gushed out from the dragon scales. When this blood color reached Ao Sheng's face, his entire face turned red. Spiritual Master Xiao the dragons at the side could not compare to Ao Sheng, and their expressions were even more dispirited. Seeing Ao Sheng like this, They were all overjoyed and shouted, "Do you still have more pills? Can you wait for me a moment?" Xiaohua beamed with joy and said, "Of course. However, this is the pill refined by this Xiao. In the future, you must remember it. And this Xiao is now cooperating with Luo Yi Merchant Union. If you need it in the future, feel free to look for Luo Yi Merchant Union." Luo Yi Merchant Union, okay, we will remember it. The dragons hurriedly urged, "Spiritual Master, give us the pills first." When Xiaohua took out some blood-replenishing pills and gave them to the other dragons, the blood qi around Ao Sheng's body finally stopped. He blinked his eyes and asked puzzledly, "What's going on? It's obviously very comfortable, and my blood qi is surging. Why did my blood essence recover so little?" Haha, Xiaohua laughed and said, "Can blood essence be recovered by ordinary methods? That is to rely on one's own recovery. This Xiao's blood replenishing pill can only replenish ordinary blood qi. It is only somewhat beneficial for you." "That's not bad." Ao Sheng nodded. "Luo Yi Merchant Union, I will also remember it. Spiritual Master Xiao, do you still have more?" "Indeed no more." Xiaohua shook his head. "This Xiao does not use these things. They are all sold in Luo Yi Merchant Union." "Spiritual Master, how can you play without them?" Ao Sheng shouted. "You have piqued my interest, how can you not care? There is really no more." Xiaohua shook his head, and then mysteriously probed. "Of course, if you can tell this Xiao the location of the dragon cleansing pool, this Xiao will consider refining some more for you after the stacked jade legacy realm." Chapter 40-29. I also want to know. Ao Sheng smiled bitterly, "But I really don't know. If you don't want to give me the pills, just say it. Don't use these to brush me off." All right, Xiaohua smiled. "I won't make things difficult for you. I still have some pills that I refined before. The effect is not as good as the one just now. I'll give them to you." Xiaohua took out a jade bottle and threw it to Ao Sheng. This time, Ao Sheng did not act rashly. He raised his sharp dragon claw and opened the jade bottle. He threw a pill into his mouth. Sure enough, although there was some blood energy surging around Ao Sheng, it was much smaller than before. "Taoist Master Xiao, you are really stingy." Ao Sheng looked at the jade bottle in his hand as if it was useless. Excuse me. Xiaohua replied. "This was refined when I was learning alchemy. Naturally, it can't be compared to now." "Forget it." Ao Sheng waved his hand and kept the jade bottle. He took advantage of the situation and said, "No matter what, it's still a gift from you. It's not appropriate for me to not accept it." Kacha at this moment. The black dragon that was spinning rapidly in the ring-shaped mountain suddenly made a crisp sound. Xiaohua and the others hurriedly looked over, and saw that the black dragon had actually split into two, turning into two identical black dragons. Roar! The two black dragons let out different rhythms, but they sounded exactly the same. Then, their huge dragon bodies stretched out from the two sides of the whirlpool. How obscure! Different rhythms of inexplicable syllables were produced between the two dragon bodies. A layer of black and white light film was revealed as the dragon roared. Whoosh! The light film had just appeared when Ao Zhan, who was silent at the side, opened his mouth and a black dragon shell fell into the air. Pu Ao Zhan also spat out a mouthful of blood essence that flashed with black light onto the dragon shell. The dragon shell instantly turned blood red and clusters of blood mist surged on the dragon shell. Wu, two light threads stretched out from the black and white light film, respectively making different strange sounds. The light threads seemed to be attracted by the blood mist of the dragon shell, and landed on the two sides of the dragon shell. The blood mist on Long Bay followed the light threads and landed on the light membrane. The light membrane seemed to come alive in an instant. Its flashing black and white wings gradually expanded, and turned into a huge butterfly. Butterfly transformation technique? Ao Sheng was shocked. Ao Qin actually used the butterfly transformation technique in the restriction? Of course, Ao Zhan said proudly. If it wasn't for me, even the Grand Elder wouldn't have been able to break the seal. Ao Sheng did not refute. It seemed that Ao Zhan was right. Xiaohua naturally didn't know what the butterfly transformation technique was. However, as the butterfly grew bigger, it covered the entire ring-shaped mountain. Roar, roar, the two identical black dragons roared and rushed into the butterfly's body. The butterfly's body trembled violently for a moment before it pounced into the vortex where the black dragons had been. Puff, there was a strange sound. The butterfly fell, and the two black dragons' bodies quickly split apart along with the black and white light screen. Then, an extremely dense dragon aura rushed out like a tidal wave. This dragon aura seemed so strange. Once it rushed out, it was stopped by the restriction of the deeper yuan. Therefore, a sharp whistling sound came from the ears of everyone and the dragons. Then, wung, the bodies of several humans flashed with an intense brilliance, causing everyone's expression to change greatly. Run! Aozhan hurriedly shouted. This is the source of the dragon aura of the stacked Jade Legacy realm. Although you all have the bloodline of the dragon race, you are still humans. You can't withstand the cleansing of this dragon aura. Quickly hide at the edge. Yes, the group of humans did not dare to delay and hurriedly flew away. However, just as the humans flew away, the group of dragons could not bear it anymore. The dragons of the Hui race were the first to appear with dragon patterns on their bodies, and their bodies rapidly expanded. Aozhan did not panic and shouted, "According to the previous plan, you all will leave this place like those humans." Yes. The dragons of the Hui race responded and flew away. After the dragons left, the fake leader Ao Tao was left alone on the spot. Aozhan looked at Ao Tao with some surprise, but did not say anything. He turned his head and stared at the dragon aura that rushed out, deep in thought. In just a moment, the dragons of the Dragon Island could not withstand it, and left one after another. In the end, beside the light screen opened by the butterfly, only Ao Sheng, Aozhan, Ao Tao, and Xiaohua were left. Damn it, Ao Sheng muttered and moved closer to Xiaohua, as if this was the only way to be safer. Aozhan looked at Ao Tao, who was also flashing with faint black dragon aura, and said, Ao Tao, the dragon aura of the deeper yuan has stabilized. If you can withstand it, follow me down. Yes, leader. Ao Tao said respectfully. I also did not expect that my bloodline could be considered pure, and could actually withstand the remnant dragon aura of the dragon domain. To be able to follow the leader and contribute to the revival of my Hui race is my lifelong wish. All right. Aozhan nodded and shrunk into his human form. He then opened his mouth and a dragon pearl flew out. Another dragon breath landed on it, and the dragon pearl turned into a battle armor that covered Aozhan's body. Wu Aosheng was not to be outdone. He also took out the purple dragon crown, and a light purple armor appeared to protect his human form. Ao Tao looked at Xiaohua and hesitated for a moment before he also transformed into his human form. However, he did not take out any dragon pearl. Instead, he took out a set of slightly old black soft armor from the dragon shell. This soft armor looked very ordinary, but when the dragon aura of the deeper yuan rushed into this soft armor, it immediately let out an indescribable dragon roar. The entire soft armor trembled slightly, as if it was excited. When Aozhan saw this soft armor, his eyes flashed with surprise. Then he looked at Ao Tao with even more interest as he put on the soft armor calmly. Then a powerful aura spread out from his body. At this point, even Aosheng felt that something was wrong. His dragon eyes moved up and down as he stared hard at Ao Tao. On the other hand, Xiaohua, as a human, had a faint dragon aura on the surface of his body. He did not make any special preparations and said, "We are ready. Aozhan, will you lead the way?" Aozhan took a deep breath and suppressed the doubts in his heart. He nodded and said, "Of course I will lead the way. Everyone, please follow me." With that, Aozhan moved his body and landed at the entrance of the deeper yuan. Just as Aozhan approached the dragon aura that rushed out, the dragon armor around his body flashed with black dragon patterns. These dragon patterns were like wings and dragon whiskers, protecting Aozhan's body. When the dragon aura blew past these dragon patterns, it produced a very ear-piercing whistling sound. Ao Tao flew down with Aozhan. His black armor actually turned into a dragon shape to protect him. The dragon shape flowed in the dragon aura like a fish in water. After Ao Tao, Xiaohua and Aosheng flew down, and followed the two dragons into the deeper yuan. The deeper yuan was a space with an inexplicable brilliance. These brilliances were like strands of light that collided with each other, and little sparks appeared at the places where they collided. Following the fiery threads and sparks, Xiaohua could clearly see that there were countless vortexes in the space. In the center of these vortexes was a sparkling and translucent, almost invisible dot. The rich dragon qi in the deeper yuan was emitted from these dots. Ao Zhan landed in the space and paused for a moment. He then flew in a direction and warned, "These vortexes are the crystallization of dragon aura. They are a great supplement for dragons who have broken through the void. But for us, they are a great danger. You must not let these vortexes touch your dragon body. Otherwise, your dragon body will definitely be blown to pieces." "I know." Ao Sheng pouted and replied disdainfully, "I have the purple dragon crown to protect me. There will be no problem. You should ask Ao Tao more." "Leader, don't worry," Ao Tao hurriedly said. "My dragon armor should be able to protect me as well." Ao Zhan responded casually and sped up. There were many vortexes in the space. They were like fireflies flying around without any order. Although the three dragons were in human form, they were still huge. It was inevitable that they would come into contact with some vortexes. Boom boom occasionally, there would be some rumbling sounds. It was the sound of the vortexes landing on the three dragons' armor. However, the explosion of these crystals was blocked by the armor and did not cause any harm to the three dragons. As for Xiaohua, it was even simpler. Not to mention that his body was originally small, just using the ethereal steps was enough for him to easily avoid all the vortexes. After flying for a full 2 hours, he saw a black mountain rock in front of him. Many strands of light fell on it, and it was as gorgeous as fireworks. Ao Zhan and Ao Zhan stopped and flew down. In the time it took to eat a meal, the fireworks actually lessened. There were actually rocks with a radius of several miles on the mountain peak like a monster. Ao Zhan said, "It's close to the left." "Is it here?" Ao Tao moved forward and said respectfully, "This subordinate will help the leader take out the crystal dragon." "Good." Ao Zhan nodded. "After you take it out, give it to Ao Sheng directly." Ao Tao responded casually and flew to the front of the stone wall. He only turned his dragon head to look at it for a while before decisively flying to the upper left. When he came to a triangular protrusion, he stretched out his right claw. Kacha kacha. The stone wall that had been tempered by dragon spiritual energy for God knows how many years was pierced by him. As Ao Tao's dragon claw went deeper, a large amount of stone fragments fell, and a deep hole of more than 10 feet appeared on the stone wall. "Wait." Ao Zhan suddenly spoke. Ao Tao was stunned. He unwillingly retracted his dragon claw and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong? Leader, could it be that this subordinate has found the wrong place?" "No." Ao Zhan answered indifferently. "You found it very accurately. The crystal dragon is here. However, this Ao has changed his mind. I want to take it out myself." "Good." Ao Tao retreated to the side and glanced at Ao Sheng from the corner of his eyes. Chapter 40-30. Roar. Ao Zhan raised his head and let out a long roar, revealing his dragon form. Along with the appearance of his dragon body, the roaming whirlpools immediately rushed over like a swarm of bees, producing a series of rumbling sounds. Woo. Ao Zhan couldn't care less about these. He opened his mouth and spouted a strand of black flame along with the dragon breath, pouncing towards the cave dug by Ao Tao. Whether it was Xiaohua or Ao Sheng, their gaze followed the black flame and fell into the cave. But just at this moment, woo, another dragon roar resounded. Another dragon flame and dragon breath that was almost identical to Ao Zhan's fell into the cave. Boom. Another loud sound resounded. A surge of dragon might emerged from the cave, rushing out like a flash flood. "Ao Tao!" Ao Zhan was furious and shouted, "What are you doing?" "I'm not doing anything." Ao Tao didn't seem to be afraid of Ao Zhan. His gaze fell on the inside of the cave, only to see a crystal-like small dragon flying out along with the dragon breath of the two dragons. On the small dragon, one after another, thunderbolt-like dragon patterns crazily rushed out. Within the dragon patterns, there were scenes of small worlds appearing and disappearing all the time. "If you're not doing anything, why are you stopping me from collecting the crystal dragon spell?" Ao Zhan slightly narrowed his eyes, looking at Ao Tao and asked coldly. Ao Tao retracted his gaze, looking straight at Ao Zhan. He asked word by word. I'm not stopping you, but I also want to collect the crystal dragon spell. You. What right do you have to collect the crystal dragon spell? Ao Zhan was so angry that he laughed. Ha! Ao Tao laughed loudly. Twisting his dragon body and pouncing towards the crystal dragon spell, he shouted. What right do I have? Because I am a dragon of the Hui race, because this crystal dragon spell was obtained by the patriarch of the Hui race, Ao Qin, at the risk of his life, I can't just casually offer this crystal dragon spell to the Dragon Island. Wu. Ao Zhan was furious hearing this. He swam his dragon body and pounced towards Ao Tao. That incomparably ferocious aura immediately blocked Ao Tao to the side. Roar. Ao Tao bellowed loudly. Pouncing towards Ao Zhan again, he shouted. Ao Zhan, do you know what it means to obtain the crystal dragon spell? You are the descendant of the Hui race. You actually dare to take the proud head of the Hui race of the 9 clans of the Dragon Island. The pitch-black dragon aura around Ao Zhan surged out rapidly. The large number of vortexes rushed into the dragon armor formed by the dragon pearl. The dragon aura surged into Ao Zhan's body, causing his body to expand rapidly. Swoosh! With a deafening sound, Ao Zhan's dragon tail strangely appeared out of thin air. That dragon tail was like a pair of scissors that instantly slashed Ao Tao's back. Ao Tao let out a wild howl. The pitch-black dragon armor trembled, and some dragon blood flowed out from under the dragon armor. Ao Zhan didn't continue his attack. Instead, he said coldly, I'm warning you. You don't have to say anything. I know what this crystal dragon scripture means. At the same time, I also know what the Dragon Island's 10 clans and Dragon Island's 9 clans mean. I naturally have my reasons for doing so. Since you know what the crystal dragon scripture means, then you should understand. Ao Tao's body trembled slightly. However, he still shouted. My Hui race obtained the crystal dragon scripture. If we can comprehend the profundity of the dragon race's reproduction from the crystal dragon scripture, our descendants will naturally be able to reproduce and prosper. Not to mention suppressing the dragon race. Even suppressing the Dragon Island's 9 clans wouldn't be difficult. At that time, even if you don't want to occupy the Dragon Island, my Hui race can occupy the other Dragon Islands. Who would have the patience to mingle with the Dragon Island's 9 clans? This crystal dragon scripture was obtained by Patriarch Ao Qin, and the others who risked their lives. They even spent a lot of effort to hide it here. With just a few words from you, you can easily give it to the Dragon Island? You. How can you face the seniors of my Hui race who died for the crystal dragon scripture? Ao Zhan shook his head slightly and sighed. I know you have always thought of yourself as the leader. Normally, you would also command the people of my Hui race. When I suddenly appeared, you were very unconvinced. You are thinking too much. Ao Tao said coldly. Although you have never shown yourself, I have long known that there is a true leader like you. I have never been unconvinced. Ao Tao replied very calmly. I just don't understand. My Hui race has fought for so many years. Why is it that with just a few words from you, all the sacrifices we made in the past are all for nothing? We have sacrificed enough in the past. This kind of sacrifice is not worth it. Ao Zhan said indifferently. Not to mention the dragons who died in the Stacked Jade Legacy realm, not to mention the dragons who died around the Dragon Island. Just the dragons in the Paradise River were implicated because of my Hui race. How many dragons have died? In order to take revenge, how many dragons have died in the Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas? My Hui race can no longer sacrifice anymore. If this continues, even if we obtain the Crystal Dragon Scripture and comprehend the profundity of the Crystal Dragon Scripture, how can my Hui race have any more dragons to reproduce? If these sacrifices are for my dragon race, I have nothing to say. However, these sacrifices are purely for the internal strife of my dragon race. There is no meaning at all. You are wrong. Ao Tao shook his head firmly and said, those who can persevere must be meaningful. Although you are the leader of my Hui race, you cannot completely represent my race. You do not have the right to decide who this Crystal Dragon Scripture belongs to. I want to take this Crystal Dragon Scripture away. and listen to the decision of all the descendants of the Hui race. You dare? Ao Zhan roared. The pitch-black dragon aura around him was like his soaring anger. Ao Tao was also emitting the same dragon aura. However, this dragon aura was clearly not as dense and pure as Ao Zhan's. Roar Ao Tao did not say anything else. He bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he pounced towards Ao Zhan. As Ao Tao waved his dragon claws, countless explosions occurred around Ao Zhan's dragon body. The dragon horns on his head even produced black crystal-like objects. These crystal-like objects turned into huge spikes amidst the dense dragon aura, and rapidly pierced towards Ao Zhan. Ao Zhan roared and similarly pounced towards Ao Tao. The two dragons actually started fighting in the deep air lake. In just a short moment, the dragon armor of the two began to tear apart. The dragon scales under the dragon armor flew everywhere, and dragon blood splashed. Xiaohua was somewhat dumbstruck. Looking at the crystal dragon scripture that the two dragons were fighting over, it was quietly floating in the air. Many whirlpools fell on it, but they only accelerated the birth and death of the small thousand world inside the thunderbolt. Xiaohua urged his figure to fly over. Ao Sheng was very obedient. He did not go near the crystal dragon scripture, and even avoided the two dragons' desperate fight. Xiaohua flew in front of the crystal dragon scripture, and stretched out his hand to grab it. Xiaohua sucked in a breath of cold air, because in his hand, an indescribable burning sensation appeared. Even the dragon aura could not block it. Clearly, this crystal dragon scripture was not something that a human race could collect. Roar Xiaohua released the dragon vein Xiaohua. The dragon vein Xiaohua opened its mouth, and swallowed the crystal dragon scripture into its stomach. Immediately after, it entered Xiaohua's meridians. What made Xiaohua puzzled was that not only did Ao Zhan not care about him collecting the crystal dragon scripture, even Ao Tao did not even glance at him. Fellow Taoist, just when Xiaohua was puzzled, the dragon vein Xiaohua's voice sounded. This crystal dragon scripture is a bit strange. You delay Ao Sheng and the others. Wait until we get out of the stacked jade legacy realm, before returning it to them. Xiaohua looked at Ao Sheng, who was sitting at the side, and replied. If it was Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan, naturally it would be fine. But Ao Sheng still has the great elder of the dragon race in his body. How could he let I take it? I can take the dragon jade for you to comprehend. This is already the limit of his tolerance. How about the dragon vein? Xiaohua hesitated for a moment. Fellow Taoists can comprehend it inside the space. This crystal dragon scripture contains a huge secret. I'm afraid it won't work. Xiaohua looked at Ao Sheng, who seemed to have regained his senses, and flew towards him. He said in a low voice, I will deal with Ao Sheng. You quickly comprehend it yourself. I will delay it for as long as I can. All right. The dragon vein Xiaohua said a word and did not speak again. Xiaohua Ao Sheng flew over and opened his mouth. Where is the crystal dragon scripture? This old man is afraid that there will be some unforeseen event. I will keep it first. Xiaohua looked at the bloody battle between Ao Zhan and Ao Tao, and seemed to reply casually. He sighed and said, Ao Sheng, tell me, these two dragons are fighting like this. Is it the saying of us humans that there is no need to be so anxious? Ai, of course it is. Ao Sheng also sighed. I also did not expect that Ao Tao would reject my dragon island so much. In his heart, there is really a lot of hatred. Taoist, why don't you hand the crystal dragon scripture to me first? Oh, don't be anxious. Xiaohua waved his hand. Tell me, between Ao Tao and Ao Zhan, who is right and who is wrong? This Ao Sheng hesitated for a moment and smiled bitterly. Actually, no one is wrong. Doesn't the human race often say that those who walk different paths cannot make plans together? These two dragons are probably like that. However, I feel that Ao Zhan is still right. After all, what he did will allow many dragons to live. It is already difficult for my dragon race to reproduce. One less dragon is really one less dragon. It cannot be compared to your human race. That can you? Without waiting for Ao Sheng to say more, Xiaohua interrupted again. The problem is that this Ao Tao's strength is not comparable to Ao Zhan at all. Furthermore, there is still a great elder in your body. No matter what, Ao Tao cannot succeed. Why did he choose to fight here? Ao Sheng's expression changed slightly. He shook his head and said, I don't know about this. Maybe he wants to take advantage of this crucial moment to threaten us? Xiaohua looked at Ao Sheng with doubt in his eyes. From Ao Sheng's repeated requests, Xiaohua understood that Ao Sheng wanted to get the Crystal Dragon scripture. But why did Ao Sheng not go to get the Crystal Dragon scripture at the first moment, but pay attention to the battle between Ao Zhan and Ao Tao? These two dragons without any suspense. Xiaohua did not have time to think anymore. He saw Ao Zhan roar furiously from afar. The black flames around his body soared into the sky. When they fell, the black flames wrapped around Ao Zhan like a black robe. Ao Zhan's huge dragon body turned into a bolt of lightning and pounced towards Ao Tao. As for Ao Tao, he did not have any intention of dodging. He roared furiously, and the black dragon armor grew sharp spikes. The dragon horns rushed forward and met Ao Zhan's attack head-on. Not good. Xiaohua was shocked. Ao Sheng at the side was also stunned. It seemed that he could not understand Ao Tao's actions. Seeing that the two dragons were about to collide, Ao Zhan's body suddenly rose. Obviously, he did not want to kill Ao Tao. Ao Tao's body suddenly accelerated. His heart was facing Ao Zhan's dragon horns. It seemed that he did not care about his own life. Chapter 40-31. Pu. As the white horse passed by, Ao Zhan's dragon horn pierced deeply into Ao Tao's heart. The dragon head that couldn't stop pierced through Ao Tao's body and tore it apart. It even brought Ao Tao's body and crashed into the mountain with a boom. Aren't you courting death? Ao Zhan pulled out his dragon horn and blocked the falling rocks from the mountain. He shouted coldly, What exactly are you thinking? Damn traitor. Ao Tao snorted coldly. I would rather die in the hands of the traitor than lower my head to the 9 clans of Dragon Island. Get lost. After I die, no dragon clan will interfere with your plan. You can obediently become the 10th elder of Dragon Palace. Ao Zhan's dragon eyes were filled with anger. He shouted, If you have such thoughts, it's better for you to die. Ao Tao's dragon body slid helplessly on the mountain rocks. There was an unyielding expression in his eyes. Taoist Master Xiao. Ao Tao's low and powerless voice came. Can you take me out? I have something to tell Taoist Master. I don't want other dragons to know. Okay. Xiaohua originally wanted to stall for time. When he heard that Ao Tao had something to say, he immediately agreed. He glanced at Ao Zhan and Ao Sheng and asked, Do you want to come out too? Ao Zhan hesitated for a moment and said, Taoist Master, take Ao Tao up. I still want to go down and take a look. Since Ao Zhan wanted to go down, Ao Sheng naturally didn't want to be left behind. He replied, I'll go down too. Taoist Master, take Ao Tao up first. Okay. Xiaohua took Ao Tao's body that was starting to feel cold, and flew up the ring-shaped mountain. Just after flying for a meal, Ao Tao couldn't hold on anymore. He said in a low voice, Taoist Master Xiao, I can't go up anymore. Let's just stay here. I'll explain everything to Taoist Master. Okay. Xiaohua nodded. I'm also very curious. You're obviously not Ao Zhan's opponent. There's also the avatar of Dragon Palace's great elder beside you. Why do you have to seek death? It's very simple. Ao Tao said in a low voice. I have the same pure bloodline as Ao Zhan. I'm also the leader of the Gui clan. Ah. Xiaohua was startled and instantly understood. In other words, although you are the leader on the surface, Ao Zhanji is the leader in the dark. But in reality, you are also the real leader, and you are the real leader in the dark. You could say that. Ao Tao replied. The bloodline of the Gui clan can be divided into 2. Ao Zhan and I should be the same dragon. As he spoke, the black gas around Ao Tao slowly receded. The black armor also fell off, revealing a dragon head that looked exactly like Ao Zhan's. Xiaohua was shocked. What do you mean? No one knows my true appearance. Ao Tao said. Not even the 2nd elder of Dragon Hall, or the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. They only know that my bloodline is pure. They only know that I am a leader on the surface. I understand. Xiaohua nodded slightly. I was forced by the 2nd elder and had no choice but to submit to them. As long as I remain in this world, Ao Zhan will never be able to lead the Gue clan back to Dragon Island, even if he really cultivated to the Great Sage Realm. So to fulfill his wish, to let the 10 clans of Dragon Island have true peace, I must die. Does Great Elder know about this? Whether Great Elder knows or not, I don't know. It's also not something I care about. Ao Tao squeezed out a smile. I can't even tell Ao Zhan about this. If he knows, there will definitely be a knot in his heart, and he will definitely not be able to step into the Great Sage Realm. But if I don't say it, who knows what methods the Second Elder and the rest of the Dragon Clan will use to deal with Ao Zhan. So, Taoist, I hope you can remind Ao Zhan when you have the chance. Why does it have to be this Xiao? Xiao Hua smiled bitterly. Because of Taoist Zhao's dragon bloodline. Ao Tao replied. And also for Taoist to complete Ao Zhan's true dragon bloodline. How do you know? Xiao Hua was shocked. I originally came from Ao Zhan's bloodline. My strength is similar to his. It can even be said that we should be exactly the same. Ao Tao explained, and in the past, under the nurturing of the Dragon King of Dragon Palace, I was even a bit stronger than him. But now his strength is more than a bit stronger than mine. Looking at his attitude towards Taoist, how can I not know? As for Taoist's bloodline, if I'm not wrong, it should be the Dragon Clan's Ho clan. At this point, Ao Tao's face turned red. Xiao Hua knew that it was the final radiance of the setting sun, and Ao Tao himself was also clear. No longer entangled in Xiao Hua's matter, he changed the topic and said, the dragon armor on my body belongs to the Ho clan's patriarch. Taoist, please give it to Ao Zhan. About my matter. Taoist, please don't tell Ao Zhan a single word. Moreover, if the Second Elder uses this as an excuse to blackmail him, you must clarify for me. This matter is of great importance. Taoist, please help me help my Ho clan. Good. Don't worry. Xiao Hua nodded. I will definitely help you with this matter. Moreover, I will also try my best to not let you die. No, I must die, Ao Tao hurriedly said. If I didn't want to die, why would there be today's matter? Taoist, if you save me now, you will be harming Ao Zhan and my Ho clan. Forget it. Xiao Hua understood and sighed. Letting Ao Tao breathe his last, he put his soul into the inside of the space. Looking at Ao Tao's dragon body that was exactly the same as Ao Zhan's, Xiao Hua also put him into the space. This dragon body must not be allowed to be obtained by any other Dragon Clan member. Otherwise, it would be used against Ao Zhan for not being able to become a saint. Of course, this was also one of the reasons why Ao Tao painstakingly asked Xiao Hua to send him up. Xiao Hua packed up, took the dragon armor and flew down. As he flew he shouted, green-robed fellow Taoist, you take control of the body. I will go and see the secret of the crystal dragon seal. As he spoke, Xiao Hua pulled out the green-robed Xiao Hua and sent the crystal dragon seal into the space. His mind also entered it. Jade Archive Xiao Hua's figure appeared. Looking at the crystal dragon that was still surging with endless dragon patterns in the air, he raised his hand and pointed. Jade Archive Xiao Hua's entire body turned into the shape of a dragon. As the dragon pattern changed, he gradually merged with it. Then the entire space was gradually filled with a huge dragon-shaped shadow, just like a pillar of the sun's brilliance. About half an hour later, Jade Archive Xiao Hua's figure came out of the crystal dragon seal. In his hand was something that looked like a key. His face carried a kind of penetrating understanding. However, there was even more confusion in this understanding. The dragon-shaped shadow in the space also disappeared. Strange. It seems this crystal dragon seal doesn't have any secret of the Dragon Clan's reproduction. How come there are some secrets of the dragon field? If I take this key, Jade Archive Xiao Hua thought to himself. Damn it, even if I take this key, so what? I can't go to the dragon field anyway. What's the use of knowing this secret? But since this thing is in my hands, can I still return it to them? These Dragon Clan members are scheming against each other. They are not much stronger than the human clan. Jade Archive Xiao Hua came out of the space. Green-robed Xiao Hua urged his figure to go deep into the deeper Yuan. After finding Ao Zhan, Xiao Hua raised the dragon armor and said with a smile, Ao Zhan, this is Ao Tao's battle armor. I think it's not bad, so I'll give it to you. Humph. Ao Zhan looked at the thick blood stains on the dragon armor and sneered. Who would have the patience to use something left behind by this rebel dragon? He. Ao Sheng laughed. Ao Zhan, this is the dragon armor of your Ji clan leader. I'm afraid Ao Tao got it from the Dragon Palace. If you don't want it, won't you have to return it to the Dragon Palace? Won't that be too convenient for the Dragon Palace? Ao Zhan muttered. He kept the dragon armor and asked, Where's Ao Tao's corpse? What corpse is there? Xiaohua spread out his hands. I originally wanted to send him outside, but I didn't leave. He couldn't do it. After saying a few words, the dragon chi was broken by the dragon spirit chi. He got lucky. Ao Zhan snorted and said, Daoist Xiao, don't talk about these unhappy things. There seems to be the aura of the dragon core below. It can't be? How can it be so easy to get the dragon core? Xiaohua was a little happy. Ao Sheng smiled and said, Daoist Xiao, can you give me the crystal dragon seal? What's the hurry? Xiaohua said impatiently. I'll give it to you when we get out of the deeper Yuan. Ao Sheng smiled and said, I seem to have suddenly thought of a clue about the dragon cleansing pool. I wonder if Daoist Xiao wants to hear it? All right. Xiaohua hesitated for a moment and agreed. After Ao Sheng said a few words, Xiaohua sneered. Ao Sheng, since you know this, why didn't you tell me earlier? Ao Sheng smiled. First of all, I want to say that I just found out about this. Secondly, I don't think Daoist Xiao has told me everything he knows, right? Xiaohua didn't understand what Ao Sheng was referring to, but he didn't want to argue. He took out the crystal dragon seal and handed it to Ao Sheng, asking Ao Zhan, Is there really a dragon core here? I don't know if it's a dragon core or something. Senior Ao Qin left the crystal dragon seal in the deeper Yuan, so he naturally felt the aura of this pill. Otherwise, how would I dare to tell Daoist Xiao about it? Ao Zhan replied. However, we're close to the folded jade forgotten land. There are broken space veins inside. Not only do we not dare to go in, even someone as strong as Senior Ao Qin doesn't want to take the risk. I have to go down and take a look. Xiaohua pondered for a moment and said, You all have your gains, but I'm the only one who is empty-handed. Whether this pill is a dragon core or not, I have to get it. I'll go with you. Ao Zhan answered without hesitation. Let's go. Ao Sheng also didn't hesitate. However, as the two dragons roared and flew for a while, the dragon chi in front of them became more and more unpredictable. Moreover, there were hidden spatial veins appearing in the space. The two dragons almost fell into them several times. Thus, the two dragons didn't dare to move forward and waited on the side. Chapter 40-32. Xiaohua smiled faintly and didn't say much. After moving stealthily for a moment, he immediately opened his illusion breaker eyes and saw everything clearly. He saw that this place was somewhat similar to the space vein that Xiaohua encountered when he was in the nascent soul stage. Hidden void passages were connected together, and he couldn't distinguish where they went and where they came from. Moreover, within these space passages, there were some strange and incomprehensible brilliances that faintly appeared. Of course, this place was very different from before. Within Xiaohua's illusion breaker eyes, there were countless splendor that resembled dragon patterns gushing out like a fountain. Each dragon pattern was so dazzling that Xiaohua's illusion breaker eyes were somewhat sore. Moreover, each of these void passages was curved, and there were sections of pitch black where the curves were. Clearly, these were broken areas that couldn't be passed through. Even some of the passages that were slightly further away from Xiaohua, there were web-like light threads that covered the entire path. Not to mention the dragon body. Even if Xiaohua used a transformation technique, he might not be able to pass through. The dragon hall's great elder is right. Xiaohua roughly looked for a moment and thought to himself, this should be the location of the broken space. When it was intact, it should have been connected to the so-called dragon field. But since there is still dragon chi rushing over, it means that there are still some places that have some connection to the dragon field. As for the size of the connection, I can't casually judge. While speaking, Xiaohua separated a trace of Yuan Shen. However, just as this trace of Yuan Shen left his body, a thunder-like sound rang out. His Yuan Shen was hit by the dragon patterns, and Xiaohua was so frightened that he hurriedly withdrew his yuan shin. This is troublesome. Xiaohua narrowed his eyes and looked at the web-like space vein in front of him. A trace of vigilance appeared in his heart. I can't even use my yuan shen. What else can I rely on? However, thinking about the temptation of the dragon core or the ancient golden core, and then thinking about how there was no warning in his heart until now, Xiaohua's heart became lively again. He urged his body and carefully flew towards the place where the dragon qi was the densest. Xiaohua's ethereal steps didn't require true qi. Moreover, he had a marvelous sense of direction in the void. Therefore, he was able to effortlessly fly towards the depths of this void vein that even the great elder of the Dragon Hall feared. If this fragment of the dragon domain was truly related to the dragon domain, then perhaps Xiaohua's fleshly body could really transform into a dragon and enter the dragon domain. Unfortunately, Xiaohua's figure was blocked by layers of fence-like light patterns in the time it took for Emil to fly in. This light pattern was black and white, and there was almost no space in the middle. Moreover, in this small space, strands of dragon patterns fiercely penetrated through. Clearly, this was the end of the stacked jade forgotten realm. Behind this light pattern was either a dragon realm or an inexplicable void. The black and white patterns of light did not flicker at all, as if they were engraved in that space. However, between the black and white, there was an absolute majesty that made Xiaohua's heart tremble. Xiaohua could sense the will of the world above the black and white patterns of light, but his delusion breaker Dharma, I could not see any trace of it from the black and white. At first, Xiaohua wanted to test the might of these light patterns with magic tools and other objects. However, when he sensed the powerful will within, he immediately strangled the thought of testing it. He didn't dare to imagine what kind of punishment he would face if he touched the might of the world. Of course, the money grubber Xiaohua also wouldn't give up on any opportunity. He flew slightly closer to the light patterns. The dragon patterns that flew out from the light patterns were so sharp that when they landed on Xiaohua's fleshly body, it almost gave birth to a pain of being cut into pieces. Xiaohua knew that he couldn't hold on for long. Clenching his teeth, a strand of divine sense came out from the space between his eyebrows. Rumble! Just as the strand of divine sense came out, countless thunder-like vibrations instantly entered Xiaohua's Naiwan palace. One after another, sparks that were 100 times more brilliant than the previous ones were born on top of the innate divine restriction. Outside the entire Naiwan palace, all the innate divine restriction seemed to have come alive and slowly overflowed on the surface. Seeing that the dragon patterns had actually activated the innate divine restriction, how could Xiaohua dare to be negligent? The strand of divine sense hurriedly came out and landed on the black and white light patterns. Just as the strand of divine sense came in contact with the black and white light patterns, two indescribable ripples came out from the black and white light patterns respectively. When the ripples came in contact with the strand of divine sense, the strand of divine sense immediately turned into countless granules. These countless granules then immediately disappeared into the dragon patterns without a trace. The strand of divine sense disappeared, but the ripples didn't disappear. Following the origin of the strand of divine sense, they landed on the space between Xiaohua's eyebrows. Boom! There was a soundless muffled thunder, as if the entire world had collapsed in an instant. Xiaohua only felt one black and one white, one from top to bottom, the other from bottom to top. All of his senses immediately disappeared, and everything ceased to exist. Looking at Xiaohua's fleshly body again, in an instant, it was like a strand of divine sense. As the ripples entered his body, they turned into granules from the space between his eyebrows. Fortunately, although each granule was half black and half white, they weren't scattered by the dragon patterns like the strand of divine sense. Moreover, after the countless dragon patterns fell into these granules and caused the granules to shake, some more dragon patterns actually seeped out from the other side of the granules. Xiaohua's fleshly body was almost destroyed, and the Tao foundation that he had cultivated for hundreds of years was even more annihilated by the ripples. However, just like the granulation of the fleshly body, after the Tao foundation was destroyed, it also left behind a tiny, almost inaudible dot, like a red seed. This unforeseen event came really quickly. Xiaohua's mind didn't have time to hide in the space. He saw black and white filling his eyes, And his mind also became pure. He didn't know how much time had passed. Maybe it was a snap of a finger, maybe it was millions of years, but Xiaohua's mind already didn't have any concept of time. Suddenly, a weak voice sounded in his mind. I want to go to Pingyang City to learn martial arts. Actually, from the moment Lu Zhen met sister-in-law, I've been thinking about why we were bullied by others but didn't have the power to fight back. It wasn't until this time, when I was injured by the bandits when I was marrying sister-in-law, that I knew the answer. It was because we didn't have martial arts. We didn't have enough strength to make others fear us. If I knew martial arts, those people definitely wouldn't dare to attack us. Moreover, didn't Uncle just say that the bandits of Xichui Mountain might come to our door? There's no guarantee that we can always rely on other people's protection. Only by mastering martial arts can we truly face the bandits. Only by learning martial arts will I be able to protect myself and everyone else. This voice was so childish, but also so determined. Hearing it, Xiaohua's mind, which seemed to be an idiot, suddenly woke up. Similarly, under the Tao Foundation, the weak seed also began to beat. Is this my original intention? Xiaohua asked himself. It was as if this distant memory had been erased from his mind, and was suppressed to the bottom of his memory by hundreds of years of radiant splendor and light dust. Is this what I did? Following Xiaohua's rhetorical question, a series of familiar yet strange old memories jumped out one after another. These memories were not connected, nor were there any order to them. However, the more Xiaohua looked at them, the more resolute his heart became, and the seed under the Tao Foundation grew crazily, as if it had been watered with spiritual liquid. Previously, there might have been some flaws or cracks in the Tao Foundation, but now they were all gone, crystal clear and flawless. Not bad. In the end, after the huge sea monster got the immortal morning pill, the light screen and memories no longer appeared. Xiaohua suddenly opened his eyes, and an indescribable determination appeared like a mountain. I treat the world with kindness. I treat the people with benevolence. I treat the world with firmness. I treat the sun and the moon with sincerity. If I don't become an immortal, who will? Shua at this time in the space, where Xiaohua of the Way of the Heavens was, an obscure fluctuation came out from the space and fell on the granulated Xiaohua. The countless granules gathered together, seemingly to form a complete Xiaohua. Unfortunately, just as Xiaohua's figure was about to heal, another fluctuation came out from the black and white, and Xiaohua's figure was forcefully separated. Just when Xiaohua's mind became blurry again, the familiar flickering light in his childhood dream slowly appeared. Under the fluctuation, Xiaohua's figure finally became complete. Xiaohua opened his eyes, and the flickering light in his eyes slowly disappeared. Then, Xiaohua didn't dare to stay any longer, and urged his figure to fly back. After flying for a while, Xiaohua's figure stopped at a place. This place was also a space passage, and Xiaohua also knew that this passage was basically closed, and there wouldn't be any exit. However, Xiaohua had a very strong feeling that there was something very important inside. Dragon Core? Xiaohua narrowed his eyes, and stared at the entrance of the passage. The entrance of this passage was a little strange. Several irregular light patterns were faintly discernible. These light patterns not only blocked the dragon aura from gushing out, but also covered up the remaining brilliance. It seemed that there was a lot of danger inside. Facing the strange light patterns, Xiaohua already didn't dare to make any attempts. Previously, if there wasn't the fluctuation of light tracing, Xiaohua would have already turned into dust. But if he had to give up the dragon core, Xiaohua was also somewhat reluctant. After quietly observing for a moment, Xiaohua found some opportunity. When the light patterns disappeared again, Xiaohua didn't hesitate to urge his figure, and drifted into the passage. Just as Xiaohua entered, the concealed light patterns appeared from another direction, and blocked Xiaohua's retreat. So close. Xiaohua let out a sigh of relief, and continued to fly forward. Not only the entrance of this passage was strange, even the inside was also very strange. It was like a winding path on top of a mountain, mostly twisted. After flying for a while, Xiaohua didn't even remember how many turns he had taken. Suddenly, a scarlet dragon shape appeared in front of his eyes. This dragon-shaped brilliance was too brilliant. dazzling Xiaohua's delirium vision to the point of dizziness. Xiaohua was greatly alarmed and hurriedly closed his delirium vision. When he opened his eyes again, he saw a palm-sized crystal dragon quietly floating in the air. And far away from the dragon, there was a fist-sized pill, like a stardust, slowly rotating. Xiaohua's eyes lit up, and he stretched out his hands, one in each hand grabbing the dragon and the pill. Chapter 40-33. Xiaohua's hand had just touched the medicinal pill, when the medicinal pill unexpectedly issued a roaring sound like a magic treasure. However, even though the medicinal pill seemed to have spirituality and jumped a few times, it still obediently fell into Xiaohua's left hand, smoothly exceeding Xiaohua's expectations. But at the same time, before Xiaohua's right hand could touch the crystal dragon, the crystal dragon suddenly moved, turning into a stream of light and flying in the direction Xiaohua came from. Damn it! Although Xiaohua had obtained the medicinal pills, he still felt very uncomfortable seeing the little crystal dragon fly away. Cursing under his breath, he sent the medicinal pills into his space and chased after it. After chasing for a while, Xiaohua suddenly realized that the path the crystal dragon flew was exactly the same as the path he flew in. Even when he came in previously, it would appear again when he stopped at certain places. Damn it, it can't be? Xiaohua woke up. Could it be? This crystal dragon accidentally entered this space passage? It has been waiting for a dragon to come and find it? If this crystal dragon is like this, then what about the dragon pill? Could it have also entered here by mistake? While Xiaohua was thinking, the crystal dragon had already flown out of the light pattern. The timing was really just right. Xiaohua had no choice but to wait at the place where the light pattern was, waiting for the next time to disappear before coming out of the space passage. After coming out, Xiaohua flew out of the space passage and flew towards where Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan were. However, when Xiaohua flew back, Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan were already gone. Xiaohua sneered. Needless to say, the crystal dragon must have appeared. The two dragons chased after it at the same time. Neither of them wanted this mysterious dragon to fall into the other's hands. Xiaohua stopped for a while, then flew towards the entrance of the deep air lock. After leaving the ring-shaped mountain, the restrictions that were previously all over the place had disappeared. Xiaohua released his Yuanshen, but he didn't see any dragons, monsters, or humans around. It was quiet. Xiaohua thought for a while, then sat down cross-legged and his mind entered the space. In the space, the pill he just received turned into a flame that was dozens of feet large and floated in the air. On the surface of the flame, there were tens of thousands of tiny vortexes. In the center of these vortexes were strands of crystal silk, which was the unique brilliance of the space. This jade archive. Xiaohua looked at the huge medicinal pill, and his face immediately showed an expression of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Damn it, this might really be a dragon pill. The elixir refined by the dragon god in the dragon domain. Even if it was not consumed by the dragon race, it was definitely not something that ordinary Dao sect cultivators could consume. With such a tremendous medicinal strength, even if it was me, I would still explode from the medicinal strength. If I had guessed correctly, the pill from the upper realm must have been left behind in the space vein, and was flushed into the space passage with no exit by the dragon chi. Now I had obtained it by chance. Sigh, what a pity. So what if I get it? Just look at it and don't consume it. As he spoke, Xiaohua saw Xiaogua, who had always been diligent, standing there and looking at the medicinal pill as if she was worshipping it. Her eyes were filled with shock. Oh. Xiaogua, what did you see? Jade Archive. Xiaohua asked curiously. Reporting to Master. Xiaogua's gaze was reluctant to move away from the medicinal pill, and she replied, I saw the alchemy technique that Master taught me before in the flames, and I also saw other alchemy techniques that I have never learned before. It can be like this. Jade Archive. Xiaohua looked at the flaming medicinal pill in disbelief. Unfortunately, even if he was Jade Archive Xiaohua, he still could not see anything from the flames. Master. Xiaogua asked timidly, can I use those alchemy techniques to refine medicinal pills? Of course you can, why not? Jade Archive. Xiaohua immediately replied with a smile. Xiaogua, the more you can refine and better medicinal pills, the happier this old man will be. Thank you, Master. Xiao Guo was overjoyed and looked at the sky with even more focus. Sigh, I worked hard for nothing. Jade Archive. Xiao Hua sighed and withdrew from the space. After waiting for another half a day, seeing that Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan had not returned, Xiao Hua stood up and smiled. Hehe, since Ao Sheng is not coming back, then don't blame this Xiao for not keeping his promise. This Xiao will go find the dragon cleansing pool myself. Xiao Hua originally did not know where the dragon cleansing pool was. In the deep air lake, he had forced Ao Sheng to reveal some vague clues. At that time, Ao Sheng had agreed to go with Xiao Hua, but now that there was an unforeseen event, Xiao Hua could only look for it himself. Beside a stream, outside 2 mountains, 3 dragons playing with a pearl, for seasons alternating. Xiao Hua randomly picked a direction and flew, pondering as he flew. What does this mean? Is it the location of the dragon cleansing pool? Or the place where it appears? This sentence was naturally transmitted to Xiao Hua by Ao Sheng, but unfortunately, Xiao Hua still did not understand the meaning of this sentence. After flying for the time it took to eat a meal, Xiao Hua frowned and descended from the sky. This was because below him in the valley, there were not only huge amounts of dragon crystals, but also dozens of badly mutilated dragon bodies. Just like what he saw before, many of the dragon bodies had their hearts cut by sharp blades. Sigh, the dragon palace of the 4 seas. After witnessing the confrontation between Ao Zhan, Ao Tao, and the dragon hall's great elder, Xiao Hua increasingly felt that the dragon race was much smarter than ordinary monster race. In terms of scheming, they even surpassed the human race. Since the dragon island was like this, then how bad could the dragon palace of the 4 seas be? Xiao Hua could not help but sigh inwardly. This must be for some benefits. They recklessly attacked in the stacked Jade Legacy realm. Xiao Hua collected the dozens of dragon bodies, and also collected the huge amount of huge rocks. Only then did he fly into the sky and fly far away. Right after Xiao Hua flew away, a strange shadow slowly rose from the depression in the mountain peak in the distance. It stared at Xiao Hua's back for a long time. Xiao Hua naturally did not know that there was a shadow behind him that even his own Yuan Shen did not notice. He only released his Yuan Shen to explore the surroundings. After all, in the verse, there was beside a stream, so he naturally had to find the stream first. The stacked Jade Legacy realm was very strange. There was no stream at all, let alone a lake. This was very inconsistent with the dragon island located in the 4 seas. It was also because of this that Xiao Hua was confident that he could find the dragon cleansing pool. After all, as long as he could see the stream, it meant that the dragon cleansing pool was close by. After flying for a few more days, Xiao Hua did not find the stream, but he did find a lot of dragon crystals and piled them up in the space. On this day, another winding mountain range appeared. Without waiting for Xiao Hua to stop, a few unfamiliar Yuan Shen swept over from the mountain range. When these Yuan Shen swept past Xiao Hua, they immediately locked onto Xiao Hua. A few dragon roars could be heard from below the mountain range. 5 huge dragons of different colors surrounded Xiao Hua with clouds. The light red dragon in front opened its mouth and shouted loudly, "Are you Dao Sex Xiao Hua?" Just when the Yuan Shen locked onto Xiao Hua already sensed that something was wrong. Unfortunately, his flying technique was not fast enough in this place. The 5 huge dragons easily surrounded him. When he heard the huge dragons speak, Xiao Hua's heart skipped a beat. He knew that he had encountered trouble. He pondered for a bit, then cupped his hands and said, "That's right, I am Xiao Hua. I wonder why fellow immortal is looking for I? Where's Ao Sheng?" Another dark blue huge dragon released his Yuan Shen and looked around, then asked. Xiao Hua shook his head. "I was with Ao Sheng earlier, but for some reason he suddenly left because of some matters. After that, I never saw him again." "Haha, I'm afraid he has already died in the experiential learning." A yellow huge dragon laughed loudly. "Ao Sheng's life and death has nothing to do with you or me." The huge dragon that spoke first said, "We only need to kill him." "Humph, just a human cultivator. I don't know how you got the favor of the Dragon Palace Elder to actually come to the stacked Jade Legacy realm for experiential learning." A light gray huge dragon seemed to be very dissatisfied with Xiao Hua entering the stacked Jade Legacy realm first. He snorted coldly, like a huge thunderbolt, and muttered, The last purple huge dragon that didn't speak until now said coldly, "Why are you saying so much? Just kill this despicable human. Second brother already passed the information to us. If he didn't ruin things, this king could have completely taken over the heavenly abode river after returning to the dragon palace from the dragon island. And now, all the credit is taken away by second brother." You hearing the purple huge dragon's words, Xiaohua was shocked. He hurriedly shouted, "You are the dragon race of the North Sea Dragon Palace? You are the seventh prince Bayan?" Roar hearing Xiaohua call him Bayan, the seventh prince was furious. He raised his head and roared, "Human, this daddy is the seventh prince of the North Sea Dragon Palace, Ao Zheng. Don't associate this daddy with that tiger-shaped thing. That thing is only this daddy's descendant. It is only fit to be carried in the mortal world's government." Xiaohua's eyes turned quickly. Looking around, he said with some fear, "Since the second prince has already returned to the dragon palace, then the dragon race of the heavenly abode river was also captured by him. What's the use of venting your anger on I now? Damn human, you ruined my North Sea Dragon Palace's great matter, ruined this king's good thing. How can this king spare you?" Ao Zheng roared. Waving his dragon claws, he shouted at the other dragons, "Don't talk to him anymore, Ao Yen, you and the others attack." After looking for him for so many days, he finally ran into our subordinates. Don't let him escape. Roar. The four huge dragons roared, baring their fangs and claws as they rushed toward Xiaohua. Xiaohua's eyes flashed fiercely as he saw that this was not going to end well. With a loud shout, he took out the wishful staff and flew towards the light gray dragon, Ao Yen, without activating the heavenly law's embodiment technique. Although Xiaohua's figure was tall and thin, in front of Ao Yan's gigantic dragon form, he was truly insignificant. However, the dragon aura around Ao Yan's body surged, filling up the space within 1,000 feet. When Xiaohua neared, a fishy smell came from within the dragon scales. The dragon claws seemed to be piercing through tens of thousands of sharp swords, enveloping Xiaohua's surroundings and piercing towards him. Chapter 40-34. Wu the wishful steel staff stirred the dragon chi and smashed into Ao Yan's dragon claw. Before it could get close, the wind from the dragon claw was extinguished. Moreover, just as Ao Yan was shocked and wanted to avoid the wishful steel staff and grab Xiaohua's body, the wishful steel staff hit the side of the dragon claw at an extremely strange angle. Ao Yan screamed and the dragon claw immediately collapsed. Looking at Xiaohua again, his figure suddenly urged, wanting to use the power of the staff to escape the encirclement of the 5 dragons. Unfortunately, before Xiaohua could fly more than 100 feet, a thunderous cyan spear appeared in front of Xiaohua. The dark blue dragon that was previously on the side of Xiaohua showed a human form, and the long spear crossed the sky and pointed at Xiaohua's chest. Second prince is right. The human race is the most cunning. We just started to fight, and you want to escape before even a move and a half. This kind of thinking. How is this the demeanor of a master? Boom! Xiaohua did not dare to neglect. He waved the wishful steel staff and sent the long spear flying. At the same time, his figure retreated. When he squinted his eyes and looked around, he found that he was still under the siege of the 5 dragons. Except for the position of the 7th prince Ao Zheng, the position of the other 4 dragons had changed. Even the 5 dragons had shrunk their dragon bodies and turned into human form in order to trap him. Grandma, I'm afraid it's a kind of array formation of the North Sea Dragon Palace. Xiaohua was a master of array formations. Now he understood at a glance and secretly complained, "I'm afraid my plan to escape with the help of a small body will not work." Xiaohua had already fought with Ao Yan. Although he injured Ao Yan, now looking at Ao Yan's indifferent appearance and the teasing look in her eyes, it was obvious that he had deliberately injured himself before to reveal his true purpose. Xiaohua was now accustomed to the cunning of the dragon clan. He roared and displayed the heavenly law embodiment technique. He waved the wishful steel staff and flew toward the light red dragon clan. As early as in the Dragon Palace Hall, the Great Elder had already told Xiaohua about the strangeness of the stacked Jade Legacy realm. Naturally, Xiaohua was already prepared in his heart. Although all magical powers such as divine thoughts could not be used, he relied on the monster body and the dragon vein to still be at ease in the stacked Jade Legacy realm. He even broke Ao Jiao's Li in heaven. Xiao Hua gradually threw the great elder's words to the back of his mind. He felt that by relying on his own monster race cultivation method, he could also get whatever he wanted. But now that he had encountered Ao Zheng and the other 4 dragons whose elemental power was around the 6th or 7th grade, Xiao Hua realized that his monster race cultivation was still too shallow. Compared with these old monsters who had lived for tens of thousands of years and cultivated for thousands of years, he was too far away. Seeing that Xiao Hua had transformed into his Transcendence golden body, the North Sea Dragon clan knew that Xiao Hua had given up on escaping and was ready to fight to the death. The group of dragons also urged their dragon chi and revealed their dragon bodies. When the light red dragon clan saw Xiao Hua flying over, he also opened his mouth and a flame spear fell into his hand. He danced and fought with Xiao Hua. The North Sea Dragon Palace originally had a foundation. The dragons who could follow Ao Zheng to participate in the Stacked Jade Legacy realm were naturally the elites of the North Sea Dragon Palace. The magical powers of this light red dragon clan were not inferior to Xiao Hua's. Under the dragon chi of the Stacked Jade Legacy realm, he was even more valiant than Xiao Hua. Seeing that Xiao Hua was already at a disadvantage, Ao Zheng and the other dragons gradually relaxed their vigilance. The 4 dragons only guarded the 4 corners to prevent Xiao Hua from escaping, and did not particularly press him. Xiao Hua seemed to be focused on the fight with the light red dragon clan, but the light in his eyes was still looking around. When he saw the 4 dragons relax, his figure immediately burst out, and the wishful steel staff sword hitting the opponent. The light red dragon clan was naturally shocked. The long spear danced, and the end of the spear swept across. Boom! The spear collided with the wishful steel staff, but this time, it was somewhat beyond the dragon's expectations. The force from Xiao Hua's wishful steel staff was stronger than before, and the dragon's long spear was somewhat bent. The dragon hurriedly urged his dragon chi, and his strength rose again. At this moment, Xiao Hua's wishful steel staff shrank, and his whole body fell down extremely strangely with the force of the long spear. Ah! The dragon was stunned, but in a flash he understood. His body moved, and the long spear chased after him. He shouted, "Second Prince, this cunning human still wants to escape." However, before he finished speaking, where the long spear was pointing, Xiao Hua's figure suddenly disappeared. Even if he swept with his primordial thought, he could not find any trace at all. "Quick!" In the distance, Ao Yen shouted. "Ao Ding, you continue to chase, I will chase above. Don't let him create a diversion." "Ao Yu, check the left." "Ao Long, check the right." Ao Zheng's face was also red, and he seemed to be a little angry. He had been stable and motionless all this time, but now he could not help but move. He ordered and flew down. "Seventh King," the yellow dragon Ao Yu hurriedly reminded. "Don't worry, let's stabilize the formation, got it?" Ao Zheng waved his dragon claws impatiently. "You and the others, quickly kill this human, yes." Ao Yu and the others released their primordial thought to search around, and although Ao Zheng said that he would not move, his body still flew up. As he flew up, the space that was previously sealed by the 5 dragon auras began to have some gaps, and the dragon chi from outside began to pour in. However, Ao Zheng seemed to be a little anxious, and did not care about this. His dragon had looked around, worried that Xiao Hua would take advantage of the chaos to escape. Suddenly, Ao Zheng stretched out his claws, and a purple spear appeared out of thin air, piercing towards the slanted space above without any warning. Pung! With a loud sound at the tip of the spear, circles of ripples appeared, and the space was slightly distorted. Behind these ripples, Xiao Hua's figure was revealed. That spear pierced into Xiao Hua's arm, and Xiao Hua's face was not only filled with pain, but also extreme shock. Ha ha ha! Ao Zheng laughed loudly, and at the same time, the 4 dragons who released their primordial thought to search around also laughed. They all stopped, and their figures cooperated with Ao Zheng, surrounding Xiao Hua in a formation. You guys already knew?" Xiao Hua's right hand landed on the spear that pierced into his arm, and he asked in surprise. Ao Zheng said proudly, "Cunning human, don't you know the magical powers of the Dragon King's 9 sons? Just now you called this king Bai En, and in just a moment you forgot about Bai En's magical powers?" Xiao Hua thought for a moment and sighed. This Xiao really forgot. Bai, and is enshrined in the court of justice. Naturally, because Bai and is very observant, and nothing in the world can be hidden from his eyes. So you, the Dragon King's 7th prince, also have this magical power. Since you know, then die. Ao Zheng laughed sinisterly, and his dragon claws suddenly became thicker, and even dragon scales appeared on the spear, and drilled into Xiao Hua's body. Xiao Hua sneered, and with a wave of his hand, the spear that had almost transformed into a dragon's shape was grabbed by the neck, and no matter how it struggled, it could not escape. Damn it. Ao Zheng urged his dragon power, but he actually could not pull out the spear, and he unconsciously lost face. He immediately understood that when he was plotting against Xiao Hua also played a small trick on him. Roar, dragon patterns appeared on Ao Zheng's body, and he madly pounced toward Xiao Hua, and his dragon claws involuntarily exerted strength again. Wu Xiaohua suddenly loosened his grip, and his whole body floated away like a paper man, and disappeared in a moment. My lord Ao Ding and the other dragons were shocked. If Xiaohua escaped at this time, it would really be a big loss of face. Ao Zheng did not say anything, and a blue light flashed on his dragon horn, and like a thunderbolt, a brilliance flew everywhere, and the space around thousands of feet around was torn apart by this brilliance. But Xiao Hua, who was good at escaping, was not in this space at all. Damn it! Ao Zheng roared, and the dragon scales on his body emitted a rare purple cloud, and the entire cloud rushed into the space like a hurricane, wreaking havoc in places where the brilliance could not find. However, Xiao Hua seemed to have disappeared into thin air, and there was no sign of him appearing at all. Fu Ao Zheng exhales and raises his head to look at the 4 dragons who want to speak, but don't dare to. He suddenly laughs. Damn it, no wonder second brother said that this Xiao Hua is cunning. This king still unknowingly fell into his scheme. Forget it. Why is this king wasting time with him? As he spoke, Ao Zheng opened his mouth, and a faint purple dragon breath came out, and then a fist-sized dragon pearl flew out, supported by the dragon breath. The dragon pearl's brilliance was faint, but where the brilliance went, all the dragon chi showed the shape of dragon patterns, and at the top of the space in a corner, Xiao Hua's figure appeared. Roar, the one closest to Xiao Hua was the deep blue dragon Ao Long, and Xiao Hua was at the edge of his perception. If he moved slightly, as long as the 5 dragons relaxed in the slightest, Xiao Hua would immediately escape through this gap, and Ao Long could not help but cry out in alarm. Xiao Hua sighed when he saw that the light had appeared and his body was exposed. Without the escape techniques that he usually had, in front of these 5 giant dragons whose elemental energy was around the 7th level, he was doomed. Ao Long cried out in alarm, and also opened his mouth, taking out a jade bottle-like dragon weapon, and then a brilliance rushed out from the dragon weapon, and the nearby dragon chi crazily rushed in, only to see a waterfall rushing out from the dragon weapon, smashing towards Xiao Hua. Seeing the surging water, each drop of water containing great power, Xiao Hua not only did not panic, but a trace of melancholy appeared on his face. In the past he relied on the innate true water to kill countless enemies, but now, he was blocked by a dragon using the same Dao method. Roar Xiao Hua did not dodge, and the heavenly law's embodiment of earth rapidly absorbed the dragon chi, and strands of dragon patterns also appeared on the surface of his bronze body. Swish, Ao Long's jade water rushed onto Xiao Hua's Dharma body without any suspense, and not only did countless water sparks appear, even the surrounding space was somewhat distorted by these splashes of water. However, what made Ao Long stunned was that Xiao Hua's body only flashed brilliantly, and the splashes of water did not cause any harm to Xiao Hua at all. Chapter 40-35. No way. Ao Long was a little absent-minded. The dragon weapon in his hand also awkwardly stopped in midair. Of course, he didn't think that Xiao Hua's body would be reborn in the blood pool. How could his dragon weapon injure him? Wu Xiaohua took advantage of Ao Long's distraction and swung his wishful staff. Boom! It hit the dragon weapon. A burst of splendor splashed, like a silver bottle leaking. Countless splashes seeped out from the cracked dragon weapon, causing Ao Long to be flustered. I'll meet Taoist Master Xiao. The light red dragon Ao Ding hurriedly came out from the side. He opened his mouth and a fiery red ring came out. The ring rushed out and immediately ignited with flames. The flames were blue and purple, scorching the space within 1,000 feet. Xiaohua sneered. Since he started cultivating, when was he afraid of going overboard? He was about to wave the wishful staff in his hand when he heard Ao Zheng, who was beside him, roaring, "Don't do anything! All of you go together! Kill him as soon as possible! Once this matter is over, we still have the more important 4Cs debate." Okay. Hearing Ao Zheng's anger, Ao Ding and the other dragons didn't dare to be negligent. They hurriedly urged their dragon qi and surrounded Xiaohua. At the same time, they took out their dragon weapons and attacked Xiaohua at the same time. "Cunning dragons!" Xiaohua shouted. For 7th grade dragons actually besieged Xiaohua, a human. If this spread out, I'll be laughed at. Haha, Xiaohua, you're wrong. Ao Zheng laughed. They're only 6th grade elemental energy. Only with the help of dragon qi here can they have the strength of upper 6th grade. Their cultivation should be about the same as yours. Moreover, do you think you can escape from me today? Can others hear your grievances? Okay, Xiaohua narrowed his eyes and sneered. In that case, I have no choice but to fall out with the North Sea Dragon Palace. I don't have any face to begin with, so it doesn't matter. Xiaohua, you're overestimating yourself. At this moment, Ao Zheng's figure also started to move. His ability was the highest and should be at the middle stage of the 7th grade of origin power. However, he was the same as Ao Jing. Other than the fact that he was a little angry previously and lost his composure, he did not particularly step forward during the fight. As Xiaohua's voice fell, the bronze brilliance around Xiaohua's body gradually retracted. Shortly after, his arms and other parts of his body began to mutate. Command edicts that were harder than sharp swords were born. An aura of disdain for the entire world was born from Xiaohua's body. This aura grew denser and denser, and in the end, it actually forced the 5 dragons to fly back several thousand meters. Just as the 5 dragons were once again dumbfounded, the heavenly phoenix's demonic body, the phoenix parasol tree, appeared. The phoenix parasol tree raised its head and let out a long cry. The dragon qi in the surrounding hundreds of kilometers swarmed into the phoenix parasol tree, and the flame-like phantom around the phoenix parasol tree swayed wildly. After the phoenix parasol tree appeared, it did not give Ao Zheng and the other dragons a chance to catch their breath. It stretched out its twin thorns and the phoenix beak pierced through the void, directly pecking at Aou's forehead. The phoenix parasol tree's claws, which were even more arrogant than Aou's dragon claws, carried an unparalleled amount of dragon qi as it sharply scratched at Aou's chest. Roar! Aou was stunned at first, but then he went berserk. As he roared, his dragon body expanded by 3 times, and he pounced at the phoenix parasol tree. Rumble the dragon and phoenix fought fiercely, and the dragon qi exploded. Pieces of flesh and territory flew out amidst the explosion. Although Aou's dragon body was not as tough as the phoenix parasol tree's phoenix body, his control of the dragon body and the use of dragon qi far surpassed the phoenix parasol trees. Although the phoenix parasol tree's dragon body was torn to pieces, Aou also used his dragon tail to entangle the phoenix parasol tree's wings. The dragon armor on his dragon head even took the opportunity to pierce 2 large bloody holes in the phoenix parasol tree's arms. Roar! Just as the phoenix parasol tree's left claw was about to pierce Aou's abdomen, Ao Ding roared and pounced from the phoenix parasol tree's back, flames shooting out of his mouth and nose. Damn it! Though the phoenix parasol tree wasn't afraid of the flames, he didn't dare underestimate Ao Ding when he saw his back. He spread his wings and ignored the injured Aou, preparing to meet Ao Ding's attack. But right at this moment, an invisible restriction appeared around his body like shackles, and began to restrict his movements. This is bad. Alarmed, the phoenix parasol tree hurriedly looked around. Ao Zheng, who'd been standing quietly, was now swimming around him with the other 3 dragons. Clouds of gray, blue, red, yellow, and purple surged out of the 5 dragons' bodies. These clouds intertwined with the dragon qi and spun for nearly 1,000 miles. The chains that were imprisoning the phoenix parasol were clearly born from these clouds. Damn it! So this is the real purpose of the North Sea Dragon Palace's dragon formation. The phoenix parasol tree finally understood. The 5 dragons had taken turns to attack him, But it was all a ruse. Ao Zheng's true intention was to trap him to death with the formation. Dragons were truly cunning. Ka the phoenix parasol tree let out another long cry and flapped his wings. The binding force was greatly reduced, and he reached out with his right claw. An illusory figure suddenly appeared in front of Ao Ding's abdomen. Whoosh! A bloody gash dozens of meters long appeared, and dragon blood flowed out. Wounded by the phoenix parasol tree as soon as they met, Ao Ding hurriedly retreated in fright. Roar! Right at this moment, the image of an enormous dragon suddenly appeared on the phoenix Wu's back. As soon as it appeared, it immediately roared furiously, and then the dragon chi in an area of 500 kilometers seemed to have gone mad and charged towards the dragon and phoenix. Expanses of gorgeous multicolored light suddenly appeared around the dragon and phoenix, and rays of multicolored light were reflected from within the multicolored light. Dragon and phoenix parasol tree? Ao Zheng was shocked, and then greed appeared in his eyes. He roared, "Capture this human alive! Capture this demon phoenix alive!" Before Ao Zheng could finish speaking, a series of cryptic draconic words came out from the dragon-shaped phantom. As soon as the draconic words appeared, the draconic aura that was madly pouring in suddenly became violent. Balls of draconic aura that were dozens of miles long began to condense. Within a range of 500 miles, countless balls of draconic aura instantly gathered. These balls of dragon chi were like warriors, ready to pounce on Ao Zheng. Dragon! Heavenly draconic technique? Ao Zheng was completely dumbfounded. Not only did he not expect Xiao Hua to know the heavenly draconic technique, but he also didn't expect it to be so powerful. Run! Ao Zheng looked at the dense balls of dragon chi within 1,000 miles. His body moved quickly, and he charged straight up into the sky. As soon as Ao Zheng rushed up, a flaw appeared in the dragon formation of the 5 dragons. The phoenix parasol tree had no intention of chasing Ao Zheng at all. It spread its wings, and its huge body immediately rushed out like a meteor, flying in a certain direction. The moment the phoenix parasol tree rushed out of the encirclement of the 5 dragons, the balls of dragon chi within 1,000 miles suddenly disappeared at the same time. This Ao Zheng had just rushed 10,000 feet into the sky, when he naturally felt the change in the dragon chi. At this time, how could he not know that Xiao Hua's heavenly draconic technique was only half-baked and had no power at all? He was actually scared to this extent by Xiao Hua's empty fort strategy. It was really a disgrace to the dragons of the North Sea Dragon Palace. Chase! Ao Zheng roared and chased after the phoenix parasol tree without stopping. Ao Yu and Ao Ding dragged their injured bodies, and Ao Long and Ao Yin also roared as they chased after it. Although the 5 dragons were heroic, other than Ao Zheng, the other 4 dragons had the same thought. Damn it! How can we catch up to such a cunning human? Sure enough, in the time it took to eat a meal, Xiao Hua, who was in front of the 5 dragons, had already disappeared. The 5 dragons did not know whether Xiao Hua flew away, or was hiding in the surroundings. Moreover, other than Ao Zheng, the 4 dragons did not dare to be too far away, for fear that Xiao Hua would take the opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Roar! Ao Zheng let out a furious roar. He swung his dragon tail and flipped over a small mountain. He then flew to another place. The other 4 dragons shrunk their necks. No one dared to say anything. They followed him with their tails between their legs. 5 dragons with 6th or 7th grade essence energy actually let a human escape in the stacked Jade Legacy realm. If word got out, it would really be a disgrace to the dragons. 2 hours later, at the place where Ao Zheng overturned the small mountain, Xiao Hua's figure appeared. Xiao Hua, who had successfully escaped from the 5 dragons, actually had a vexed expression on his face. Damn it! This Feng Wu's incarnation was originally reserved for this Xiao to use when walking in the 1,000 Demons sacred realm in the future. Now it was actually forced to reveal by Ao Zheng. What a blunder, Xiao Hua thought to himself. But if I don't use the phoenix body, what other divine abilities can this Xiao have? That demonic blade had just been activated once. If I activate it consecutively, perhaps I can kill Ao Zheng. But what about this Xiao? I'm afraid I will also fall into the demonic path, right? Sigh, now that I think about it, this world is really wonderful. This Xiao cultivated Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, demons and other divine abilities, But here, I can only rely on the demon race's divine abilities to escape. Looks like the saying of the ancients. There's no harm in having more skills, it's really not wrong. Also, this Xiao has seen many demons, and each one of them is all brawn and no brains. But why is this dragon race more cunning than the other? From Ao Jing to Ao Zhan, then to Ao Zheng, one scheme after another. They are simply more intelligent than the human race. Fortunately, there's Ao Tao in Deep Erebus who values friendship. Otherwise, this Xiao really wouldn't dare to deal with the dragon race in the future. Xiao Hua looked at the direction Ao Zheng and the others chased after him. After pondering for a moment, he turned around and flew in another direction. He found a call and hid in it like before. He already understood that in this stacked Jade Legacy realm, the divine abilities related to the dragon race were the most popular. Now, although he had obtained the Dragon Jade, he only focused on the dragon transformation art. He didn't cultivate the Heavenly Dragon Jade technique in the Dragon Jade technique. Just now, when he was forced to helplessly by Ao Zheng, Xiaohua suddenly thought of the Heavenly Dragon Jade technique in a hurry. Sure enough, although Xiaohua didn't cultivate it, in this stacked Jade Legacy realm, when Xiaohua slightly used the Heavenly Dragon Jade technique, it immediately had an inconceivable effect. Since that was the case, there was still time. Why didn't Xiaohua comprehend one or two Heavenly Dragon Jade techniques before looking for the Dragon Cleansing Pool? Chapter 40-36. Xiaohua hid in a secluded place and cultivated for more than a few months. A few months of time was really short for cultivation, not to mention the mysterious Heavenly Dragon technique. Xiaohua only took a rough look at the Heavenly Dragon technique in the Dragon Jade, and found two extremely simple ones. Moreover, he only tried them for a while before hurriedly flying out of the valley. After all, he didn't know when the training in the stacked Jade Legacy realm would end, and he also didn't know how long he would spend looking for the Dragon Cleansing Pool. Xiaohua flew into the air and looked left and right. The scenery around him didn't change. This time, the interval between the changes in the stacked Jade Legacy realm was a bit long. Xiaohua thought for a while and flew in a direction. Beside a stream outside two mountains, three dragons playing with a pearl, for seasons alternating. Xiaohua flew aimlessly as he muttered to himself. He scanned the area with his origin force to search for similar clues. Unfortunately, Xiaohua flew for a few more days. Not only did he not find any obvious clues, he didn't even see a single dragon. He didn't even see a huge rock with a dragon crystal hidden in it. It was as if everything in the vicinity had been plundered by the dragon. It's a bit strange. Xiaohua stopped in the air and pondered while pinching his chin. Could it be that in these few months, the stacked Jade Legacy realm has undergone some changes? Just as Xiaohua was pondering, a fishy wind suddenly blew from high up in the sky. Xiaohua was startled and hurriedly looked up. However, the place where the wind blew was empty. He could only see the disorder of the dragon chi and couldn't see anything unusual. Xiaohua narrowed his eyes and stared at the sky. He was already on guard. The sound of the wind definitely didn't come from nothing. There must be a dragon hiding there. Xiaohua seemed to have already seen the dragon's sharp claws. Xiaohua raised his hand and prepared to attack the space between his eyebrows and open the delirium breaker eye. But at this moment, a very surprised voice came from afar. At the same time, a trace of origin will also swept over. Xiaohua. Ooh. Xiaohua's heart moved. He raised his eyes and looked towards the source of the voice. Following the sound of the voice, the dragon's aura that made Xiaohua vigilant immediately disappeared. Taoist Master Xiao, do you still remember me? A voice that Xiaohua found familiar came closer. When Xiaohua saw it clearly, he couldn't help but be slightly stunned. He whispered, "Immortal friend Xian? Hee, long time no see. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Xian to also come to the stacked Jade Legacy realm to train." Wasn't the person flying over from afar the former Western Sea Dragon Palace's vice inspector, Xian Cheng? To an old turtle like Xian Cheng, a few hundred years had passed in the blink of an eye. Xian Cheng still looked the same, turning into a short old man less than 3 feet tall. He still had a goatee on his chin, a pair of shifty eyes, and a medium-sized turtle shell on his back. It was exactly the same as Xiaohua's impression. I'm ashamed. Xianqing flew closer and cupped his hands. I originally accompanied my family's third crown prince to participate in Dragon Island's experiential training, but I didn't expect to encounter the opening of the stacked Jade Legacy realm. I was testing the purity of my bloodline in the Dragon Qi realm, but I didn't expect that I would actually reach the qualifications to enter the stacked Jade Legacy realm, so I also came in to train. However, this old man is slow-witted. After so many years, my cultivation hasn't improved at all. I haven't gained anything during this time. When Xiaohua heard what Xianqing said, he disapproved in his heart. That year in the so-called Western CI, he clearly saw how Xianqing performed. That by Haojiao, who looked a lot more powerful than Xianqing on the surface and was also a lot more scheming, was played by him in the palm of his hand. How could he believe Xianqing's words now? That's right. Xiaohua also said with a smile. This Xiao is similar to fellow immortal Xian. I also occasionally entered the stacked Jade Legacy realm. First, I was thinking about how to escape, so how could I gain anything? Right now, this Xiao is waiting for the stacked Jade Legacy realm to close and leave. Oh, speaking of which, fellow immortal Xian, when will this stacked Jade Legacy realm close? When I was about to come, I heard my family's third crown prince say that it seems to be closing soon. Xianqing replied. Right now, the time inside the stacked Jade Legacy realm is already the same as Dragon Island. When it accelerates again, it will be the beginning of the stacked Jade Legacy realm's closing. Time. Xiaohua frowned and said in confusion. How can the changes of time be sensed? Oh, it's simple. Xianqing also concealed it, and said with a smile. There is no time in the four seas. Above Hidden Immortal, there are 4 seasons. When spring comes, autumn comes, summer comes, and winter comes, that is the sign of time acceleration. Change of the 4 seasons. Xiaohua's heart jumped, and he couldn't help but cry out. Fellow immortal Xian, do you know what 3 dragons playing with a pearl is? 3 dragons playing with a pearl? Xianqing stared blankly. After thinking for a moment, he shook his head and said, this old man doesn't know what Taoist means by that. It's nothing, it's nothing. Xiaohua waved his hand and said. This Xiao was just thinking of something else. Oh right, fellow immortal Xian, where are you heading to? Zai. Xianqing sighed and said. This old man entered the stacked Jade Legacy realm, and hid in a place. Just now, I received a message from my family's third crown prince. He wants me and the other subordinates of the Western Sea Dragon Palace to hurry to the Turning Dragon platform. Although this old man doesn't want to come out, I don't dare to disobey the Crown Prince's orders. I can't not go. Turning Dragon platform? How do you know that place is called Turning Dragon platform? Xiaohua asked strangely. Who would have thought that Xianqing was even more strange than him? Of course I don't know. But my family's third crown prince said the location. And also said that the place is called Turning Dragon platform. Hee. Xiaohua laughed self-deprecatingly. This Xiao thought too much. This Xiao thought that fellow immortal Xian was the same as this Xiao, entering the stacked Jade Legacy realm for the first time, and not knowing where this place is. It's nothing. This old man is also very unfamiliar with this stacked Jade Legacy realm. Xianqing said with a smile. Before entering the Legacy realm, this old man specially asked my family's prince. Otherwise, this old man also wouldn't know. Since that's the case. Xiaohua looked at Xianqing, who was smiling harmlessly, and said, fellow immortal Xian, you should go to the Turning Dragon platform. Don't let your family's third crown prince wait anxiously. As he spoke, Xiaohua cupped his hands, and wanted to bid farewell to Xianqing. After all, Xiaohua's current strength had already surpassed Xianqing. He wasn't afraid that Xianqing had any schemes. Moreover, looking at Xianqing's slightly nervous expression, Xiaohua also understood that Xianqing definitely didn't expect that he would be able to come out of the Western Sea alive. He was very shocked to see him. Moreover, Xiaohua wasn't afraid that Xianqing would reveal this matter. After all, only he and Xianqing knew about the Western Sea. As for how big the Western Sea was, Xianqing probably knew much more than him. The mastermind of the Western Sea was Xianqing. If this matter was revealed, Xianqing would undoubtedly die. What was he afraid of? At worst, he could just say that he saved the Grand Mist Ancestor. Although the Grand Mist Ancestor also didn't know that he was still alive, He had already asked Taoist Master Qing Su to recruit him several times. That Xiancheng raised his hand and said with some hesitation, "Taoist Master Xiao, please wait a moment." "Oh, fellow immortal Xian, is there anything else?" Xiao Hua asked with a smile that wasn't a smile. Xiancheng hurriedly shook his head and said, "There's nothing special. It's just that when Taoist Master asked about the 3 dragons playing with a pearl, this old man suddenly thought of the turning dragon platform." "What do you mean?" Xiao Hua was somewhat puzzled. What does the 3 dragons playing with a pearl have to do with the turning dragon platform? This old man is only guessing. Xiancheng said with a smile. "According to my family's 3rd prince's message, the turning dragon platform is a huge round platform, similar to a pearl. Moreover, the dragon palace of the 4 seas will be fighting on the turning dragon platform. However, no matter what, it should be 4 dragons playing with a pearl, and not 3 dragons playing with a pearl. What are the dragon palaces of the 4 seas fighting on the turning dragon platform for?" Xiao Hua was confused and asked curiously. Xiancheng replied, "Taoist Master Xiao might not know that the dragon palaces of the 4 seas are led by the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace, but in reality, whether it's the Western Sea Dragon Palace, the Northern Sea Dragon Palace or the Southern Sea Dragon Palace, their strength is not inferior to the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace. Under the leadership of Dragon Island, the dragon palaces of the 4 seas seem to be very harmonious. On the surface, there is no change in the rankings, but secretly, there is no lack of competition between each other for this ranking. Of course, outside of the 4 seas, no one knows these secrets. That is to say, the turning dragon platform's fight is also one of the competitions?" Xiao Hua somewhat understood. "Yes." Xiancheng nodded. "Not only this time's training in the folded jade legacy realm, but every time Dragon Island's training, the dragon palaces of the 4 seas will have this kind of competition. Every time Dragon Island's training nears the end, the dragon palaces of the 4 seas will find an opportunity to put their gains together, and then distribute them according to the ranking of the competition. So much so that in the future, when there is a need for a ranking in many places, it will also be decided according to this ranking. Therefore, the dragon palaces of the 4 seas attach great importance to every training competition. As long as there is a contribution in the competition, the dragon clan will be rewarded." Speaking to here, Xiancheng paused for a moment and changed the topic. "Taoist Xiao, this old man previously heard of the grudge between Taoist and the Immortal Palace. Originally, I thought it was just the same name, but now that I have seen Taoist, this old man knows that Blackwind Ridge's Xiao Hua is Taoist. If Taoist wants to safely escape from the Immortal Palace's suppression, it is best to form a good relationship with my West Sea Dragon Palace. With my West Sea Dragon Palace's support, the Immortal Palace will not dare to make a move against Taoist. Of course, this old man is saying this for the sake of Taoist, and also for my 3rd prince. If Taoist makes a contribution in the competition, not only will 3rd prince benefit, but this old man will also benefit. This Xiao only has the strength of a little over 5th grade essence energy. How can I defeat the dragon generals of the dragon palaces?" Xiao Hua repeatedly waved his hand. Xiancheng smiled and said, "Taoist's current strength may not be a match for the other dragon generals of the dragon palaces, but Taoist's potential is something this old man has never seen before. Back then Taoist's strength. Haha, this old man knows. How many years has it been? Taoist is actually already at 5th grade essence energy. This old man does not ask for anything else. I only ask for a warrior for my West Sea Dragon Palace." "How is the relationship between the West Sea Dragon Palace and the North Sea Dragon Palace?" Xiao Hua frowned and asked in a low voice. Xiancheng said without hesitation, "Haha, my West Sea Dragon Palace is the West Sea Dragon Palace. Not to mention the North Sea Dragon Palace, even if it is the East Sea Dragon Palace. Even if it is the Immortal Palace, my West Sea Dragon Palace will not be afraid." Chapter 4037. "Really?" Xiao Hua reminded with a faint smile. "I just offended the 7th prince of the North Sea Dragon Palace, Ao Zheng. He couldn't wait to eat me alive. Fellow Taoist Xian, you have to think carefully." "Ao Zheng." Xiancheng stared blankly and said with a bitter smile, "How did you offend Ao Zheng again?" The seventh prince of the North Sea is extremely narrow-minded and vengeful. Since you offended him, I'm afraid you won't have a peaceful day in the future. How about this? If you want to go to the Turning Dragon platform, you should first hide your appearance and wait for me to report to my third prince. If it doesn't work, don't blame me. If Xiancheng agreed, Xiaohua would naturally be suspicious. However, Xiancheng declined, and Xiaohua instead believed him. He might not go to the Turning Dragon platform to participate in the competition of the Dragon Palaces of the Four Seas, but he must go to the Dragon Cleansing Pool. The competition Xiancheng mentioned was very similar to the three dragons playing with a pearl. Xiaohua had no choice but to go take a look. Xiaohua thought for a moment and nodded. Alright, since that's the case, I'll go with fellow Daoist Xian. Xiaohua agreed, but Xiancheng hesitated and said somewhat awkwardly, I can bring you there, but I have to report to my third prince first. Deal. Xiaohua replied straightforwardly. I'll do as fellow Daoist Xian said. Even if I can't participate in the competition of the Dragon Palaces of the Four Seas, it's enough for me to meet the third prince of the West Sea Dragon Palace. Fellow Daoist Xiao, please. Demonic clouds appeared under Xiancheng's feet. He raised his hand slightly and flew away first. Xiaohua narrowed his eyes and looked at Xiancheng's back. He knew that Xiancheng was rather unwilling, but he didn't care and urged his figure to follow. The two flew for a few hours. Xiancheng, as he said, was not particularly familiar with the folded jadeite legacy realm. As they walked, they searched. Along the way, they did not see any dragon tribe. It seemed that the dragon tribe who were training in the folded jadeite legacy realm had gathered at the Turning Dragon platform to prepare for the competition in the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas. After flying for another hour, dragons gradually appeared in the same direction as Xiancheng. Xiancheng didn't greet these dragons and only flew forward with Xiaohua. Seeing a screen-like mountain range appear in front of the two, Xiancheng stopped and said carefully, Enlightened One, please wait here for a moment. This old man will go and report to the third crown prince first. All right. Xiaohua nodded and stopped in midair, watching Xiancheng fly away. Xiaohua released his essence perception and looked around, trying to find clues about the dragon cleansing pool. Unfortunately, after looking around for a while, Xiaohua frowned again. Although Xiaohua had yet to see the Turning Dragon platform, there were already many dragons nearby. How could the dragon cleansing pool be in such a place? Perhaps this Xiao should go to the left side of the Turning Dragon platform to take a look. Xiaohua urged his figure and flew towards the Turning Dragon platform. Who are you? Why did you barge into the forbidden area of the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas? Xiaohua had only flown a few thousand feet when two dragon generals appeared in midair and blocked Xiaohua's path. Forbidden area? Xiaohua looked into the distance and asked curiously. The Stacked Jade Legacy Realm is a place where we, the descendants of the Dragon Clan, train. When did this place become a forbidden area of the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas? Does the Dragon Palace of the Dragon Island know? The Dragon Island does not know. The Dragon Palace even more so does not know. The two dragon generals' eyes flashed with ominous glints as they surrounded Xiaohua from both sides. Cough cough. Not far away, Xiancheng's coughs could be heard. He berated. What are you two waiting for? This is a dragon general of my West Sea Dragon Palace. Oh, so it is the West Sea Patrol envoy. When the two dragon generals saw Xiancheng, their expressions relaxed as they said with a smile. This immortal friend did not mention his origin. How can we let him in? He even threatened us, saying that he will report this matter to the Dragon Palace. Hee, Daoist Xiao is just joking with you, no need to take it seriously. Xiancheng waved his hand and said, You two go and patrol. This old man will bring him to see my third crown prince. All right. The two dragon generals nodded and flew away. Let's go. Xiancheng brought Xiaohua to the vicinity of the Turning Dragon platform. He stopped and said with a smile, I will not hide it from Daoist Xiao. My third crown prince heard about Daoist Xiao's matter and felt somewhat troubled. My West Sea Dragon Palace is definitely not afraid of the Immortal Palace alone. But Daoist Xiao offended Aozheng. It is very troublesome. Third crown prince is not willing to fall out with the North Sea Dragon Palace in the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm. So, no problem. Xiao Hua said with a smile. This Xiao will just walk around nearby. In a while, I will just watch the show from the side. Daoist Xiao, don't be anxious. Xiancheng immediately waved his hand and said, let this old man finish speaking. Although Third Crown Prince is not willing to offend Ao Zheng, he did not say that Daoist Xiao is not allowed to contribute to my West Sea Dragon Palace. Daoist Xiao only needs to wait by the side. If we need Daoist Xiao to take action, I believe that my Third Crown Prince will not have any more misgivings. All right. Xiao Hua did not really want to rely on the West Sea Dragon Palace, so he casually nodded his head. This Xiao will be nearby. If you need this Xiao to take action, feel free to speak. Then this old man will go over first. Xianqing finally relaxed. He raised his head to look at a place and said, North Sea Dragon Palace is over there. It seems that Ao Zheng has not come over yet. Be careful by the side. Just don't let him see you. Xiancheng exhorted a few more words before turning around and flying away. Xiao Hua relaxed and looked towards the turning dragon platform. Indeed, it was as Xiancheng said. This turning dragon platform was a spherical greenish-black round platform. It was several thousand zhang tall, and towered on top of the mountain peak. It was very similar to a stone pearl. This round platform was perfectly round and flawless. It was truly a work of the gods. Damn it! There is a dragon pearl, but where are the 3 dragons of the 3 dragons playing with a pearl? Xiao Hua's eyes looked all around, but he could not see anything strange. Xiao Hua looked at the 4 groups of dragons gathered in the 4 directions of the turning dragon platform. There were also many dragons nearby who seemed to be watching the show. He prepared to leave. Right at this moment, the sound of wind whistling flew out from the direction of the East Sea Dragon Palace. A huge dragon rushed onto the turning dragon platform. He looked around and said loudly, This king is the East Sea Dragon Palace's second crown prince, Ao Qiong. I believe that all the dragons already know what is going on here. The Stacked Jade Legacy Realm is about to close. Our training in the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm will also end soon. The training in the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm is an extremely rare opportunity for us. I believe that all of you have gained a lot in the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm. Today, my Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas will also hold a routine competition in the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm. We will once again distribute the treasures we obtained in the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm. This king also does not want to go into the details of the competition rules. This king only wants to say that the dragon who can stand on the turning dragon platform in the end will be the final winner. Roar, roar! The group of dragons all roared, appearing very excited. Second prince. At this moment, a dragon general flew out from the North Sea Dragon Palace. He said somewhat timidly beside the turning dragon platform, My 7th prince has not come yet. Can this competition be postponed? Ao Zheng is not here, but you all are. Ao Qiong did not give this dragon general any face at all. His dragon eyes looked towards the sky and shouted coldly, When Ao Zheng comes, it won't be too late to let him fight. But what if my 7th prince can't make it in time? That dragon general endured Ao Qiong's forceful dragon aura, and said reluctantly. Ao Qiong sneered and said disdainfully again. The competition on the turning dragon platform is the joint decision of the Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas. The dragon race of the 3 Seas Dragon Palace has been waiting for more than 10 days. Ao Zheng has not come yet. Could it be that we have to wait until the Stacked Jade Legacy Realm closes? Moreover, who knows if Ao Zheng is afraid? Does he not dare to come? My East Sea Dragon Palace has plenty of dragons with intermediate 7th grade essence energy like him. It doesn't matter if he has one more or not. But that dragon general seemed to want to argue. Ao Qiong simply shouted, Does your North Sea Dragon Palace still want to participate in the competition? If you don't, just go to the last place. Alright. The dragon general did not dare to say any more. He hurriedly returned to discuss with the other dragon generals on how to deal with it. Dragon warriors. Ao Qiong's dragon aura lingered around his body. His dragon aura soared into the sky as he said encouragingly, The previous experience was nothing. The competition on the turning dragon platform is the real battle. Release your dragon aura. Release your dragon aura. Let the heavens and earth tremble, and let the seniors of the dragon region be excited. Roar! All the dragons roared. especially the dragon generals of the East Sea Dragon Palace, West Sea Dragon Palace, and South Sea Dragon Palace. They urged their dragon bodies to pounce on the turning dragon platform. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws. They actually started to fight. As for the North Sea Dragon Palace, seeing that the Dragon Palace of the Three Seas had already made their move, they did not dare to hesitate. Under the lead of a 6th-grade Essence Energy Dragon, they also pounced over. In just a short moment, miserable screams and angry roars could be heard in the air above the turning dragon platform. Pieces of flesh mixed with dragon blood fell onto the turning dragon platform. Motherfucker, Xiao Hua saw the dragon aura surging over like a tidal wave. That dragon aura and the strength of the battle were similarly spreading out in all directions like raging waves. He hurriedly retreated and secretly cried out in his heart. How is this 3 dragons playing with a pearl? It's more like 100 dragons playing with a pearl. Forget it, I believe that there's no dragon cleansing pool here. I'd better go somewhere else. Daoist Xiao just as Xiao Hua was about to turn around. Xianqing flew over and said with a smile, now is a good opportunity. North Sea Dragon Palace's Ao Zhang is not here. Daoist should quickly take advantage of this opportunity to get on the turning dragon platform. If you can defeat a few dragons, my 3rd prince will also gain face. Get on the platform now? Xiaohua bitterly smiled. He pointed at the huge dragons churning on the turning dragon platform and said, how strong are these dragons? If I go over now, wouldn't I be killed for nothing? AI Daoist, now is a good opportunity to win in the chaos. Xiancheng's expression slightly changed as he urged. Moreover, Daoist's body is extremely small. There are also many opportunities for sneak attacks. If you don't go now, when will you? This old man has already reported this to the 3rd prince. If you don't go, not only will this old man lose face, you'll also make the 3rd prince unhappy. If the 3rd prince gets angry, Xiaohua's heart jolted. He thoughtfully looked at Xiancheng and asked, if the 3rd prince gets angry, what will happen? What will happen? Xianqing sneered. When humans get angry, blood will splatter 3 feet. When my dragon clan gets angry. Chapter 40-38. Roar. Just as Xiancheng was about to threaten them, a shrill roar came from afar. Several giant dragons had already flown to the somersault dragon platform without waiting for the roar to land. The dragon at the front held a dragon shell in his claws. He arrived in front of the somersault dragon platform and shouted, stop, stop. However, the dragons were in the midst of fighting. Who would pay attention to him? None of the dragon clan members stopped. 2nd prince. The dragon raised his claws and took out the dragon shell. He shouted, look, the 7th prince of the North Sea Dragon Palace, Ao Zheng, and his dragon generals Ao Yan, Ao Long, Ao Ding, and Ao Yu have all been killed. As he spoke, the dragon shell flipped. The purple dragon body of Ao Zheng, the light gray dragon body of Ao Yan, the light blue dragon body of Ao Long, the light red dragon body of Ao Ding, and the yellow dragon body of Ao Yu immediately floated to the side of the somersault dragon platform. 7th prince. When the dragons of the North Sea Dragon Palace saw this, they immediately broke away from the fight and landed beside the remains of the 5 dragons. They all looked at the corpses of the 5 dragons in disbelief. Their faces were filled with disbelief. It's a little strange. Xiao Hua's gaze naturally landed on the corpses of Ao Zheng and the other giant dragons. Their chests and abdomens had been torn apart by sharp weapons. Their hearts and lungs were missing. It was exactly the same as the corpses he saw earlier. He could not help but feel puzzled. When the dragon generals of the North Sea Dragon Palace stopped fighting, the dragons of the other 3 Sea Dragon Palaces naturally stopped as well. All the dragons looked at Ao Qiong. Ao Ing, Ao Qian, Ao Qiong flew out with a displeased expression. He looked at the dragon generals of the West Sea and South Sea Dragon Palaces and scolded. Tell me, what's going on? The 3rd prince of the West Sea Dragon Palace, Ao Ing, and the 4th prince of the South Sea Dragon Palace, Ao Qian, flew out with unfriendly expressions. The 2 dragons looked at each other and said in unison, Ao Qiong, what do you mean by this? What does Ao Zheng's death have to do with us? If it's not you, could it be me? Ao Qiong said angrily. There might be some casualties in the competition between the 4 sea dragon palaces, but the 7th prince of the North Sea died in the competition. How are we going to explain this to the North Sea Dragon Palace? This has nothing to do with me or the West Sea Dragon Palace. Ao Ing waved his hand without hesitation. Ao Qian also denied it. Second prince. The dragon generals of the North Sea Dragon Palace couldn't take it anymore. They all roared. You must seek justice for the North Sea Dragon Palace. You must find the murderer who killed our 7th marquis. As long as the second prince can help the North Sea Dragon Palace, the North Sea Dragon Palace will compete with the East Sea Dragon Palace. Aobo Aoing said coldly, Are you representing the North Sea Dragon Palace? No, the third prince misunderstood. He looked at Aoing, then at Ao Qiong and Ao Qian. We, the dragon generals of the North Sea Dragon Palace, don't know what's going on, so we'd like to ask the 3 lords to help us. No matter which dragon palace can help us find the murderer, we will join forces with that dragon palace in this competition. This Aoing, Ao Qiong and Ao Qian rolled their eyes. They naturally had to find out the truth about Ao Zheng's death. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to answer to the North Sea Dragon Palace and Dragon Island. What they cared about the most was the dragon generals of the North Sea Dragon Palace. This was a force that could compete with the other 3 dragon palaces. Whichever side they sided with would definitely win this competition. I know. Suddenly, a slightly hoarse and excited voice came from below the turning dragon platform. The dragons could not help but be stunned, and their gazes looked in that direction. Wasn't the one who spoke Xiancheng of the West Sea Dragon Palace? At this moment, Xiaohua was still standing beside Xiancheng, thinking about what happened. He didn't expect Xiancheng to suddenly speak. Xiaohua suddenly felt that something was wrong. Sure enough, Xiancheng suddenly stepped back and distanced himself from Xiaohua. He raised his walking stick and pointed at Xiaohua. It's him. It's him. It's him who killed Ao Zheng, Ao Yu and the other dragons of the North Sea Dragon Palace. Xiancheng, are you crazy? Facing Xiancheng's sudden betrayal, Xiaohua was extremely shocked and furious. He finally understood the purpose of Xiancheng inviting him here. As long as he was killed, the matter of Xiancheng barging into the West Sea would definitely not be known by others. Moreover, at this point, no matter what he explained, there probably wouldn't be any dragons who would believe him. Xiancheng's intentions were truly sinister. How is that possible? Ao Qiong's face was full of disbelief as he berated. Xiancheng, he's a human. How could he kill 5 dragons around the 6th level essence power? The West Sea Dragon Palace's Aoing rolled his eyes and said anxiously, Xiancheng, don't be afraid. Quickly tell us what you know. This king will uphold justice for you. When Ao Qiong heard this, how could he not know that Xiancheng didn't know anything at all? He just casually pulled a scapegoat and confirmed the merit first, pulling a group of dragon generals from the North Sea Dragon Palace to the West Sea Dragon Palace. However, Xiancheng's words shocked Ao Qiong again. Xiancheng pointed at Xiaohua and said, I'll let Third Crown Prince know. He's the human cultivator Xiaohua. He's the best at concealing his cultivation. Previously, I saw him fighting with the North Sea Dragon Palace's 7th Crown Prince Ao Zheng and Ao Yu. However, this subordinate's cultivation was shallow, so I didn't dare to look and hid far away. Later on, this subordinate met Xiaohua again, but I saw that he wasn't injured at all. If you say that he didn't kill 7th Crown Prince Ao Zheng, this subordinate definitely wouldn't believe it. Moreover, this subordinate also found out from his mouth that he has an old grudge with the North Sea Dragon Palace. Therefore, he must be the murderer who killed 7th Crown Prince Ao Zheng. That's right, Xiaohua, it's Xiaohua. A North Sea Dragon exclaimed. 7th King received 2nd King's message. This human Xiaohua spoiled our North Sea Dragon Palace's matter. 7th King brought Ao Yu and the others to find Xiaohua. This time they didn't return. Indeed. Another unknown dragon below the turning dragon platform also came to a realization and said, This subordinate also met 7th King. He asked me if I've seen a human cultivator called Xiaohua. That's right, it's him. Alright. Without waiting for the other dragons to speak, Aoing waved his dragon claw and shouted, Subordinates of the West Sea Dragon Palace, surround Xiaohua and kill him. There's no need to ask anymore. Let's take revenge for 7th Crown Prince Ao Zheng first. Yes, a group of dragon generals from the West Sea Dragon Palace flew out from the turning dragon platform and surrounded Xiaohua. Ao Qiong was somewhat puzzled and shouted, Aoing, even if Ao Zheng is looking for Xiaohua, it doesn't mean that Xiaohua is the murderer who killed Ao Zheng. Won't we know if we see Xiaohua's strength first? Aoing replied sinisterly. All right. Ao Qiong was helpless. Aoing was right. If Xiaohua could fight with a group of dragons, he naturally had the ability to kill Ao Zheng. But if Xiaohua couldn't defeat a group of dragons, as long as they captured him, wouldn't they know if it was him after a little investigation? However, Ao Qiong was very suspicious whether Aoing would spare Xiaohua's life and give him a chance to fight for the North Sea Dragon Palace. Seeing the West Sea Dragon Palace move, how could the dragon generals of the North Sea Dragon Palace hold back? All of them flew toward Xiaohua. Xiaohua glared fiercely at the complacent Xiancheng. He didn't know if Xiancheng really saw him fighting with Ao Zheng. But the dragon generals of the North Sea Dragon Palace were right. Right now, he couldn't defend himself. Facing these dragon generals with ulterior motives, what other choice did he have other than to escape? However, if he escaped, wouldn't his crime be confirmed? Of course, this wasn't the time to hesitate. Seeing that dozens of dragons were already rushing over, Xiaohua made a prompt decision. His body flashed with brilliance. He couldn't care about anything else and was about to use his phoenix body to escape. Roar! Just when Xiaohua was about to expose the secret of the phoenix parasol, a dragon roar that Xiaohua was familiar with came from afar. Wasn't that the small clan elder of the Dragon Island, Ao Sheng? Damn it! Xiaohua was overjoyed and immediately wanted to transmit his voice. However, after the dragon roar, Ao Sheng's panicked voice had already resounded around the turning dragon platform. Run! Long Sea is here. What? Long Sea? As soon as they heard the two words Long Sea, all the dragons panicked. The dragons of the North Sea Dragon Palace and the West Sea Dragon Palace who were rushing towards Xiaohua no longer had the heart to avenge Ao Zheng. They swung their dragon tails and fled into the distance like stray dogs. Seeing that his crisis was mysteriously resolved, Xiaohua was really puzzled. Long Sea? What's that? The front of the turning dragon platform was in a mess. Xiancheng had already escaped long ago. Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan appeared with dozens of dragons and humans in a similarly sorry state before Xiaohua could fly into the air. In the space where he was at the same level as Ao Sheng, a loud and clear sound rang out. This sound was extremely penetrating. When Xiaohua heard it, it directly pierced into his heart. Especially inside his body, his meridians were violently pulsating, as if they were dragon veins. Xiaohua was very afraid of this sound. Not only that, when the sound fell, dozens of dragons near Xiaohua who had just escaped immediately fell to the ground. Their dragon bodies twisted uncontrollably, their dragon claws powerlessly grabbing the ground. On the dragon heads that were struggling to raise their heads, a pair of previously incomparably arrogant eyes were now anxiously and fearfully looking at the sky. In the sky, the figure of a strange demon beast appeared. This demon beast was only dozens of feet tall, like a toad. Other than its abdomen, which was a little green and red, there were fist-sized bumps on its back. Between these bumps, there were many dragon carvings. These dragon carvings did not produce clouds. Instead, they seeped out an extremely stinky liquid. This liquid drifted with the wind, and when it entered the nostrils of the dragons, it caused their bones to go soft and their tendons to go numb. Once the demon beast, Long Sea, appeared, it immediately pounced on the giant dragon that was lying limp on the ground. Long Sea's body landed on the giant dragon's dragon shell. When it opened its mouth, a long and thin crimson tongue stuck out. This tongue was actually also in the shape of a dragon. The dragon-shaped tongue immediately pierced into the dragon's head. Roar! The giant dragon wailed, its body trembling. However, as if it was in innate fear, the giant dragon could not move at all. Just as the giant dragon wailed and trembled, the giant dragon's brain matter was swallowed by Long Sea. Without waiting for this giant dragon to die completely, Long Sea flew to another giant dragon and greedily sucked its brain matter again. Chapter 4039. Damn it, what kind of monster is this? Xiao Hua suppressed the fear in his heart and quietly flew into the sky. When Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan saw Long Si flying out, they had already flown in another direction. Xiao Hua finally managed to catch up with them. Ao Sheng didn't have time to ask Xiao Hua how he came to the turning dragon platform. He only said with lingering fear, "This Long Si is from the dragon realm. It was originally the food of the dragon race in the dragon realm. Who knows how it came to the stacked jade legacy realm? Damn it, how can the dragon race of the dragon island deal with something from the dragon realm? Run, hide, wait until the stacked jade legacy realm closes, then we will have a chance to survive." Just as Ao Sheng was reminding them, a sound that caused Ao Zhan and Ao Sheng's dragon chi to tremble came from the space above their heads. Long Si, who had sucked the brains of dozens of giant dragons in an instant, chased after them again. Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan's bloodline was pure. They didn't go limp because of Long Si's cry, but the other dozens of dragons and humans couldn't do the same. Their bodies trembled and fell from the sky. However, Long Si seemed to be more interested in the pure-blooded Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan. It didn't care about the dragons at all. What was special was that Long Si's gray eyes were also looking at Xiao Hua. Not good. This guy seems to have found my dragon vein. What should I do? Xiao Hua saw Long Si looking at him. He couldn't help but be shocked. He then looked at Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan. They were all afraid. He knew that the two dragons couldn't win against Long Si, this natural enemy, and he was afraid that only the great elder of the Dragon Hall could win. He quickly thought in his heart, I wonder if the great elder of the Dragon Hall can fight against Long Si? If he Wu at this critical moment, the sound of wind whistling came from the sky again. Along with the whistling of the wind, thousands of clouds rolled, and the scenery on the ground began to blur. Under the power of heaven and earth, even the powerful Long Si couldn't help but be swept up by the hurricane. Oh my god. The changes in the scenery are just too awesome. Xiao Hua hated the scenery of the stacked jade legacy realm, but now he almost wanted to hug the crystal and kiss it a few times. The hurricane that changed the scenery was so big that it seemed to blow away everything in the world. Xiao Hua, who had just survived a calamity, danced with the wind in midair. Wu. After a while, a huge wind whistled over Xiao Hua's head, and the huge turning dragon platform floated away like a bullet in the hurricane. Xiao Hua's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly raised his hand and hugged the tumbling dragon platform. His entire body followed along. The changes in the scenery of the entire stacked jade legacy realm continued for a few hours. Only when Xiao Hua rolled along with the tumbling dragon platform did the entire process come to a complete stop. Xiao Hua drilled out of the mountain rocks below the somersault dragon platform with great difficulty. He patted the dust off his body and let out a long sigh of relief. Just as he was about to look around, his forehead felt cold. When Xiao Hua raised his head to look, he saw that the entire sky was covered in red clouds. Snowflakes that were like goose feathers floated out from these red clouds and began to cover the entire realm of stacking jade. The 4 seasons change. Xiao Hua smiled. I thought that it would start from spring. I didn't expect it to start from winter. In any case, since the 4 seasons have started to change, it's not too late for the realm of stacking jade to close. I can finally escape from Long Si's strangulation. Huh? This turning dragon platform. At this moment, how could Xiao Hua still be thinking about the dragon cleansing pool? He was already lucky to be able to escape from Long Si's hands. However, he inadvertently discovered that the huge turning dragon platform was strangely rolling towards the top of a mountain. This is 3 dragons playing with a pearl? Xiao Hua looked at the place where the turning dragon platform was rolling up and hurriedly flew up. When he saw the 3 mountain ranges that were like 3 huge dragons crawling on the ground, Xiao Hua's heart suddenly jumped. A kind of ecstasy surged in his heart. 3 dragons playing with a pearl, the 4 seasons change. What about the 2 mountains beside the stream? Xiao Hua hurriedly looked around, but he didn't see any other mountain ranges nearby. Creak creak, the turning dragon platform that had absorbed the blood essence of the dragon clan slowly rolled up the mountain, emitting an ear-piercing noise. Xiao Hua looked at it for a moment, and thoughtfully waited in the air. Another hour passed. The turning dragon platform was like a dragon pearl that had stopped at the peak of the mountain, and the ground was covered with rare snowflakes. Roar! Three faint dragon roars came from below the three mountain ranges. The ground shook slightly. The three mountain ranges trembled like huge dragons playing with a pearl. The turning dragon platform bounced up into the air, giving rise to waves of fluctuations. Dragon Vane Xiaohua's eyes lit up, as if he had thought of something again. When the somersaulting dragon platform fell, a spatial crack appeared high up in the sky where the impact of the fluctuation was. Two cracks in the shape of mountains appeared out of thin air. Walala, there was the sound of water, and a clear stream flowed out from the spatial crack beside the stream. Outside the two mountains, three dragons playing with a pearl, the four seasons change. Xiaohua laughed heartily as he flew towards the turning dragon platform. At this moment, how could he not know that the dragon cleansing pool was not within the realm of stacking jade, but within the spatial interlayer of the realm of stacking jade? Moreover, every time the realm of stacking jade opened, the dragon cleansing pool might not necessarily appear. Only when the turning dragon platform fell here, would the dragon cleansing pool appear. Therefore, Xiaohua finally understood that even the great elder of the dragon palace didn't know where the dragon cleansing pool was. However, the direction Xiaohua was flying towards was different from the dragon cleansing pool. His figure landed on the turning dragon platform. He looked at the turning dragon platform that was no longer fluctuating, then looked at the three dragon veins in the three mountain ranges. He hesitantly pinched his chin and pondered. Motherfucker, isn't this Xiao being a little insincere? What insincere? These dragon veins are ownerless items. Moreover, the realm of stacking jade is full of draconic energy. It won't take long for another dragon vein to appear. Moreover, the Dragon Island hasn't found the dragon cleansing pool for so many years. Isn't it not a big deal to them? Thinking about this, Xiaohua's figure fell into the mountain range and released the dragon vein Xiaohua. The dragon vein Xiaohua roared and pounced into the realm of stacking jade. It swallowed the dragon veins that had been growing for God knows how many years. Of course, Xiaohua didn't kill them all. Instead, he left a tail for each of the dragon veins. Presumably, it won't take long for another dragon vein to appear. Of course, when Xiaohua swallowed the dragon veins, he cautiously looked at the spatial crack and the gurgling stream. Only when he saw that there weren't any special changes did he relax. After swallowing the dragon veins, Xiaohua stored them away. Xiaohua flew towards the spatial crack that looked like two mountain peaks. Xiaohua's figure landed in the space crack. Before he could see the situation in the space clearly, the roars of 10,000 dragons surged over like surging waves. These dragon roars were different from what Xiaohua usually heard. Some were weeping, some were wailing, some were moaning, some were laughing, and some were whispering. When every sound fell into Xiaohua's ears, the dragon vein in Xiaohua's physical body would tremble. An incomparably solemn and dignified aura of heaven and earth, and a strict aura of order assaulted his senses. This aura was 100 times more intense than the black and white runes that Xiaohua faced earlier. This seems to be the myriad dragon country. It seems to contain the profound mysteries of the dragon race's initial establishment, reproduction, and extinction. Dragon vein Xiaohua whispered from the bottom of his heart. There's no need for any dragon jade. As long as I can understand these sounds, I can step into the dragon domain. Not only that, the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua, whose freedom had been restricted and who hadn't said a single word, suddenly opened his mouth. This young one has already sensed the boundless vitality within, the power to regenerate all living things. This must be the dragon cleansing pool. Xiaohua suppressed the excitement in his heart and entered the spatial crack. At a glance, he saw the dragon cleansing pool that he had yearned for even in his dreams. Xiaohua couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. He saw that this was a space filled with lightning. Countless purple lightning bolts appeared out of thin air and fell into a pool of water that was 1,000 li in size. This pool wasn't an ordinary circular pool, nor was it on the ground. Instead, it stood in the spatial crack in the shape of a dragon. Inside the pool, a pool of light purple liquid was rippling like water. From a gap at the end of the pool, a small stream was gurgling out. This stream was originally as thin as a chopstick, but after leaving the pool, it immediately swelled up and became like an ordinary stream. Moreover, this stream grew larger and larger. After flowing for a few li, It completely disappeared and evaporated into the spatial crack. This is the dragon cleansing pool. Xiaohua looked inside the spatial crack. Apart from the lightning, there was nothing else. He was somewhat puzzled. After closing his eyes, he opened his Delirium Breaker Dharma Eye. In the Delirium Breaker Dharma Eye, an enormous dragon shape that was several times more dazzling than an ordinary sun coiled in the spatial crack. Xiaohua resisted the discomfort caused by the Delirium Breaker Dharma Eye and carefully observed it. This dragon shape looked similar to an ordinary dragon, but on the surface of the dragon shape, every dragon scale had millions of mysterious dragon patterns. Moreover, every trace of the dragon pattern gave off a fine light. Within the fine light, there were even finer lightning bolts. Tens of thousands of dragon scales gathered together to form an unparalleled dragon might. This dragon might was like a mountain, like the sun and the moon, like the heavens and the earth. Xiaohua almost couldn't see the entire dragon shape clearly. That glaring purple flame had already forced him to close his Delirium Breaker Dharma Eye. After closing his Dharma Eye, he saw the dragon cleansing pool again. He couldn't see the profoundness inside. Xiaohua was enlightened once again. The dragon cleansing pool was not created by man, but by nature. The Delusion Breaker Dharma Eye was the key to the creation of the dragon cleansing pool. The dragon carvings on the dragon's shape were the work of the gods. The carvings on the dragon's body were probably the result of these millions of dragon carvings. Xiaohua pondered for a moment. The Confucian cultivator Xiaohua said in a low voice, "Fellow immortal, let me out first. Although I can't rely on this dragon cleansing pool to form my body, I can comprehend the essence of the dragon cleansing pool and see fellow Taoist Longmai's rebirth. This will be of great help to me in comprehending the vitality of Confucian cultivators. Fellow immortal, don't be impatient," Xiaohua said with a smile. "The spatial laws in this folded jade legacy realm are incomplete. Confucian cultivators and clear eyes technique can't be used. This is the spatial crack of the folded jade legacy realm. Who knows if fellow immortal can come out?" Chapter 40. Fortunately, Xiaohua only gave it a try before releasing the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua. Thus, Xiaohua simply let the green-robed Xiaohua send out his invisible nascent soul to experience the changes in the dragon cleansing pool together. Looking at the resplendent swordlight and the rumbling thunder, Xiaohua turned his head to look outside the spatial crack, at the snowflakes floating down from the stacked jade legacy realm. He sighed in his heart, then his mind escaped into the mysterious dark clouds. How is it? Xiaobai had previously swallowed Ao Jiao's soul, so he naturally knew some secrets of the stacked jade legacy realm. Although he had never asked, he was inevitably nervous. After all, even a dragon like Ao Jiao couldn't form her body. Xiaobai was only a flood dragon, so how could he be blessed by heaven? Now that he saw Jade Archive Xiaohua appear, he couldn't help but speak with a trembling voice. Jade Archive Xiaohua smiled and said, "Everything is ready except for the east wind. How is your cultivation of the dragon transformation art?" Ha ha ha! Xiaobai's face was filled with ecstasy when he heard this, and he laughed loudly. The entire soul formation realm was filled with Xiaobai's joy, and the gloom and sorrow that seemed to have accumulated for hundreds of years disappeared in an instant. Xiaobai laughed for half a cup of tea's time before he opened his mouth and said, "I don't know how to describe the excitement in my heart, nor do I know how to express my gratitude to you, Xiaobai." Jade Archive Xiaohua couldn't help but be excited and said, "You and I met because of Yellow Flower Ridge, and you died because of Shang Huaming. Although you aren't a member of Shang Huaming, in my eyes, you are the same as second senior brother and senior sister. You are my family in this life, and I am very happy to be able to do something for you. Furthermore, you and I are best friends. Your soul remains in my mysterious dark clouds, and my soul cultivation progresses along with you. How many people in this world are there who are worthy of such trust? How many people in this world are there who are worthy of such trust? How many people in this world are there who are worthy of such trust? How many people in this world are there who we can entrust everything to?" Sai Xiaobai's expression gradually calmed down, and he sighed slightly and said, "You are right. In the face of such feelings, any words are useless, and no matter what you say, it is useless." Have you cultivated your dragon transformation skill to perfection? Jade Archive Xiaohua was still concerned about the dragon transformation skill, and asked again. Xiao Bai smiled and said, although there are 9 layers to the dragon transformation art, when the dragon jade was incomplete, I did not quite understand it. After all, the tempering techniques in it were too profound. Furthermore, back then with my python body, I had actually already mastered most of the dragonization art. Otherwise, how could I have transformed into a dragon? When the dragon jade was complete, and I learned that the dragon transformation art was originally a cultivation method for the dragon race to remodel their bodies, I completely understood that during this period of time, there were no longer any obstacles for me to look back at the dragon transformation art in my soul state. At this point, Little White asked again, by the way, Xiaohua, you didn't let fellow Taoist Longmai reconstruct his body first? Hehe, your matter is more important. Jade Archive Xiaohua said with a smile. Leave the matter of Taoist Longmai for later. Little White was moved again. After thinking for a bit, it raised its dragon claw and a crystal light fell in front of Xiaohua's eyes. It said, this is my recent understanding of the dragonization art. Perhaps it will be of some help to Taoist Longmai. Okay. Jade Archive Xiaohua stretched out his hand, and the crystal light immediately entered Little White's body. He then urged, let's go, Little White. It's time for you to remodel your body. When Xiaohua's consciousness withdrew from the mysterious dark clouds, he used the soul strands to drag Little White's soul out. Immediately, the entire space was filled with crackling sounds. The dragon that was originally difficult to see with the naked eye actually revealed its outline. Moreover, the calm purple liquid in the dragon cleansing pool also began to show traces of ripples. Xiaohua. I'm going. Little White was actually somewhat reserved as it looked at the dragon cleansing pool, and said in a low voice. Xiaohua said with a smile. Go. Don't worry about personal gains and losses. Just stay calm and clear, and activate the dragonization art. Okay. Little White took a deep breath. Roar with a long roar. Its soul rushed into the dragon cleansing pool. Boom! Seeing Little White's soul fall into the dragon cleansing pool, the entire space shook with a loud boom. A huge fire dragon shape appeared above the dragon cleansing pool. Oh, Xiaohua somewhat understood. He knew that this was the reason why Little White swallowed the fire dragon's soul. Buzz! A series of strange sounds came from the dragon cleansing pool. The water in the dragon cleansing pool began to boil. At the crack in space, countless amounts of dragon spiritual energy rushed out from the stacked jade legacy realm, and madly entered the dragon shape that was faintly visible to the naked eye. When the dragon's spiritual energy entered the dragon scale, it turned into fireflies that hovered in the dragon cleansing pool. Is this the power of rebirth? Xiaohua's voice came from the sword light. Xiaohua hastily looked over, and saw a flickering black and white light appear at the end of the dragon cleansing pool. Then, even more black and white light appeared. In the blink of an eye, another dragon scale was formed. Then, the dragon scales began to flicker. Xiaohua, at this time, Little White's voice came. Don't forget your promise. Quickly give me a drop of essence blood. You Xiaohua didn't know whether to laugh or cry. What do you want my essence blood for? I have a lot of dragon corpses here. How about I give you their flesh? Hehe, we had an agreement back then. Little White didn't explain, and only laughed from the dragon cleansing pool. Alright. Xiaohua helplessly sent a drop of essence blood into the dragon scale. Wuxia blood-red light flashed within the dragon scale. Within the blood-red light, the chanting of gods and devils could be faintly heard. One by one, the figures of gods and devils that couldn't be determined inexplicably appeared. The black and white light from before immediately dimmed under the influence of the gods and devils. A bit of flesh appeared within the light, and at the same time, the liquid in the dragon cleansing pool began to rush into the flesh and turned into something else. In just a short moment, a butterfly-shaped dragon tail appeared. Thunderclaps sounded like raindrops, and the dragon's spiritual energy blew in from the spatial crack like a hurricane. Snowflakes also entered the spatial crack, and the originally solemn atmosphere in the spatial crack became even denser. Mysterious ripples were produced in the spatial crack one after another. Scholarly cultivator Xiaohua wasn't the only one who was immersed in comprehending the Tao of life. Green-robed Xiaohua wasn't the only one who was engrossed in comprehending the Tao of life and death. Even Xiaohua's eyes were filled with extraordinary splendor. This was the power of heaven and earth that was rarely seen in the world. This was the mystery of heaven and earth that came out of nothing. It was more profound than any cultivation method, secret technique, divine ability, or secret technique in the world. This was the source of all magical techniques and divine abilities. After a full 2 hours, the reconstruction of Little White's dragon body finally came to an end. A dragon body that was close to 50 kilometers in size gradually emerged from the dragon cleansing pool. Its scales flashed with mysterious dragon patterns, and every inch of its flesh was engraved with indescribable runes. Its seemingly real dragon body was filled with vitality and vitality. Boom! In the end, the entire space began to rumble with lightning and thunder. Consciousnesses that could easily destroy the entire world appeared above the dragon cleansing pool. With the appearance of these consciousnesses, an obscure and incomprehensible draconic incantation appeared amidst the rumbling thunder. Following this draconic incantation, the lightning in the entire space began to gather, forming a huge character on the little white dragon's blurry head. This character was so strange that even Xiaohua, who had cultivated green seal text, couldn't see it in his mind even though he could see it with his eyes. Chirp. The words that came out of the lightning made a sound that was similar to the green seal script. Then, they fell into the little white dragon's head. It was like the finishing touch. The little white dragon's head suddenly appeared. At the same time, all the waves converged on the little white dragon's head, and the blood-red dragon horn appeared on its head. The moment the dragon horn appeared, all the gods and devils chanted, and all the thunder and lightning disappeared. Haha! Little White laughed and flew out of the dragon cleansing pool. Its huge dragon body rapidly shrank. When it arrived in front of Xiaohua, the flames around Little White's body flashed, and a human figure wearing a scarlet robe appeared in front of Xiaohua. It cupped its hands and said, "Fellow Taoist, I greet you." Looking at the human figure that looked exactly like him, and the mysterious dragon pattern on the robe, Xiaohua didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He raised his hand and returned the gesture. "Little White, don't you have your original form?" Haha! Little White laughed. "I only have my original form of a monster. I don't have a human face." "Oh." Xiaohua nodded slightly and said, "I understand. Ordinary dragons can't transform into a real human like you because they don't have the bloodline of a human. And you can only transform into me because you have my blood essence?" Not only that. Little White's body swayed and transformed into an ordinary dragon. It danced in the air a few times and said with a smile, "I once cultivated in your soul, so I also have the power of your soul. When I transform into you, even Virokana revered one wouldn't be able to tell the difference." "You're my real incarnation," Xiaohua said with a smile. "You're no longer a soul body, so you can't enter the soul to cultivate. What plans do you have?" "Plans?" Little White laughed. "I'll follow you. What other plans do I have?" "The world is vast. There are many places you can go." Xiaohua nodded. "Even if you and I depend on each other for survival, you should go out and gain experience." "All right," Little White replied. "I'll listen to you. After all, I've just condensed my physical body. It's better for me to walk around first." Also, Xiaohua thought of something and wanted to send a voice transmission, but he hesitated. After pondering for a moment, he said, "Your origin, just don't reveal it. I don't have anything else to tell you." "All right," Little White replied without hesitation. "We naturally have to endure our blood feud. When the time is right, we'll talk about it." "How much dragon cleansing liquid did you use in the dragon cleansing pool?" Xiaohua looked at the dragon cleansing pool and asked, "Is there enough left for fellow Taoist dragon bloodline to condense his body?" You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.